Hey YouTube, welcome to the very first episode of Games and Stuff. I'm the Corndog Bandit. Sitting next to me here is Mr. President Linkold. We're going to be doing our very first show of Games and Stuff, where basically we talk about games news, games, and some stuff. Sounds good, right?
Sounds about right.
All right. Well, obviously, our biggest story that we've had this week was the Nintendo Direct. Nintendo dropped a bombshell of amazing stuff on us, so everyone's been freaking out about it, and we're here to discuss that with you guys today. We're going to pretty much go in order that the Direct kind of dropped things on us, and we'll give you guys our
Drop
views.
bombs.
We're going to drop bombs on you as well. So we're gonna kind of go through. We're going to see what we found interesting, talk about our views on these things, and we're just going to kind of progress along and see how things go, right?
Let's jump right in.
All right, so basically the first thing that they did was they announced the return of Twilight Princess. They're going to be bringing Twilight Princess HD to the Wii U, and I'm very excited about this. I played this first on the GameCube. I believe you played it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I played it on Wii. I never played it on GameCube. I saw it on GameCube, but I played through the whole thing on Wii. And as you know, my brother got it as a Christmas present. Mm-hmm. He got it, not me. I think he played it for about 15 minutes and then never touched it again.
He's notorious for this.
And I've beat Twilight Princess probably 3 or 4 times on the Wii. So
oh my gosh. Yeah,
that's my memory of Twilight Princess.
My grudge against him for not completing that game.
Yeah.
Shame. The biggest thing that they announced, obviously, with that is the Wolf Link amiibo that is going to come bundled with it. Now, they haven't really given us full details on what exactly it does, but you can use it in the game along with the other Zelda series amiibo that have been launched with Smash Brothers. So
did they give those amiibo? Did they actually say any of their functionality in Twilight Princess HD, or did they just announce that they would do something?
No, it just said that they are compatible, but they did not announce anything that would pertain to what they do. And then the Wolf Link amiibo, it also apparently has some compatibility with the new Zelda coming out in 2016 too. Again, they didn't say anything, but they said that specifically the Wolf Link amiibo was what was compatible. Now, I'm sure that there's no doubt in my mind anyway that they're not going to have compatibility with all the Zelda amiibos in the new one too.
No, and something tells me they'll come up with another amiibo for that game as well, if not a couple.
I'm sure they'll have some series for it. And considering that 2016, they did remind me when they were doing the Direct that 2016 is the 30th anniversary of Zelda series, so hopefully they'll do something much better than they did with the 25th. I remember the 25th being pretty much just Skyward Sword, which Skyward Sword's great, but that was pretty much all they did. They were just like, here's the game, no fanfare like they did with Mario.
Was that the year that they gave? I don't remember if it was through. If it was bundled with the game or it was through Club Nintendo or something, but they gave away the soundtrack to Ocarina of Time. Was it that year? It may or may not have been, but they did make the gold Wii remote for Skyward Sword, which was okay, I guess. I needed the Motion Plus built in, so that worked for me.
I don't remember. I have the Ocarina of Time soundtrack.
I have the soundtrack
Nintendo,
too, and I know I got it a couple years ago, but I don't remember if it had anything to do with registering Skyward Sword or not. I think it was near the same time. They probably just released them around the same time because of that year.
Yeah.
But all the same, that's all they really did.
They did do the cool. Was the 25th anniversary when they launched the Symphony of the Goddess? They did do that.
Yes.
And they gave the CD with the collector's edition. So that was.
And one of my cousins went to that symphony.
Did he?
And he didn't bring me.
They came here.
I know.
They came here this year, and I didn't go. Did you?
I didn't know they were here, but no, I have not seen Symphony of the Goddess.
I'm
all the same. So Twilight Princess HD. I think some people, or a lot of people, feel like that was an effort by Nintendo at first to buy time for Zelda, for the real Zelda Wii U. So is that really a problem? Is that reasonable? I think a lot of people are really excited to have Twilight Princess HD anyway.
I think it's been like the only realistic Zelda game that's come out since Ocarina of Time, so I think it's a very loved game, but they're not buying too much time because it's coming out. They announced the bundle release date March 4th, 2016, so we're not getting it for Christmas. So I don't know what they're planning with the newer Zelda. Does that mean it's coming really late 2016? Because I mean,
Because they did say 2016.
Yeah, they just
for
they said
Zelda
year.
Wii U. I would hope that they release it November or holiday somewhere. Hopefully by November, because as with this year, there are very few titles that are releasing before Christmas, which is kind of a big deal. They need to have titles before Christmas because, well, that's when people spend money.
Yep.
But a lot of big titles such as Star Fox Zero have been pushed back. Honestly, I hope they get Zelda Wii U out by next Christmas. Otherwise, it kind of shooting themselves in the foot. But I know Nintendo always wants to make sure they have a very solid game. They never want to release anything they feel is incomplete or that the game is broken or unplayable or anything like that. So I think we hope for the best and hopefully get it by holiday 2016. Worst case scenario, we end up getting it in spring of 2017, I think. Because Twilight Princess, the original itself, was delayed several times, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was.
It ended up being great, but
it was interesting though, because from what I remember reading, the game was like, we're ready to launch this on GameCube, and then the Wii U was basically just, obviously the Wii, excuse me, the Wii was right around the corner.
The Wii.
And then it got delayed, and they didn't give a reason. They're like, there is absolutely no delay involving the Wii. We are only bringing this to GameCube. And then lo and behold, we got GameCube and Wii version.
I think they knew from the beginning. I think Nintendo just plays with our emotions like that, as with certain Super Smash Brothers content. But we'll talk about that later.
Get some Smash Brothers, yes.
We'll talk about that in a bit here.
But I mean, regarding Twilight Princess, the big thing was you get to buy the bundle with the Wolf Link amiibo. If you pre-order it, you get the soundtrack. Now, they didn't say if this was digital or physical, so I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be... Now, that's another thing. They closed down Club Nintendo, and that was their old way of like doing that kind of thing. And they said that they were going to have their new reward system out before the end of the year, and we have heard nothing, which that seems
maybe it's that.
Yeah.
It would be a good way to kick off a new reward system if they are making a new one. Get it started by saying, here... Well, not everybody, but a lot of people are going to be buying Twilight Princess HD, so here you just bought this new game, well, now come redeem it on our new rewards website. It might be a good way to get started.
The only other speculation that I really had was what are all these amiibo going to do? I mean, they said that they're adding new functionality to Twilight Princess to support not only Wolf Link, but the other Zelda amiibos. What could it possibly do? Do you think it's just going to be really... Because some amiibo unlockables are very simplistic. They just sometimes do aesthetic things. They don't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
But obviously the Wolf Link is important enough to carry over to the new Zelda, so that one specifically might have more functionality.
Yeah. So I wonder if that, because they said it's being packaged with it, but almost always Nintendo will sell something packaged with the game and version of the game just by itself.
Yep.
Meaning it's possible that there's no requirement to actually have to have the Wolf amiibo just to beat Twilight Princess or just to play through Twilight Princess.
Sure.
So I would assume it's some sort of extra content. Maybe they integrated it into extra puzzles or extra side quests or something like that. I would imagine side quests is a good, easy place to stick in amiibo functionality, because then they don't have to change the whole storyline and try to rewrite it so it fits back in with itself. And that's a lot more work than just porting it over into an HD version. And obviously, I don't think if you put Ganondorf on the gamepad, they're going to let you play as Ganondorf or anything like that. Or Sheik.
Then you see Twilight Princess from a new point of view.
Yeah.
The Dark Lord.
Yeah, you get to sit in the castle for, I don't know.
It took me about 20 hours.
Yeah, it took me about 36 hours to beat Twilight Princess the first time I played through. So you just get to sit in the castle until about the last 2 hours of the game, and then
you use the gamepad to motion yourself around the room while you're sitting around. This is a nice castle, man. Can't wait for Link to get here.
I'm glad I bought this furnished. Yeah,
but that's pretty much the main thing. I mean, obviously, I'm really excited about it. I loved it. I mean, I played it on GameCube, so I'm not sure. That's another thing. I don't know what their plans for version type would be. Are they going to bring over the Wii version. The Wii version was flipped and had motion controls mainly, but if you're using the gamepad, are they going to bring it back to regular controls like they did? Maybe they're going to do like GameCube version with, because the GameCube can do both. It can basically.
I'm sure they'll offer both because.
Yeah, because you can do traditional, but you can also aim like the bow. But you obviously with the Wii one, you swung your Wii remote around to do basic sword fighting.
Well, yeah, something tells me because you have the Wii U gamepad, they're gonna want to incorporate that as much as possible. At least they're gonna do maps, and then they'll leave the rest of the controls to.
Maybe they'll do inventory on there too, which would be nice. Because Twilight Princess had a very big inventory, and it had like the wheel.
They could do inventory. Wheel. They could actually have you do your sword play off of there. Is that not how? What is it? Nintendo World.
Nintendo World,
did you swipe the screen for your sword attacks, or did you press a button?
No, the person using the gamepad was an archer, and then everyone else with the remote was a sword.
Okay. Well, I think they could put sword play into there. That would be a little less likely. Maybe they'll offer functionality for both to say here you can use the gamepad, because there are obviously a lot of things in Zelda you can use the gamepad for, inventory, stuff like that, or they could just go for a more traditional route. So I think that's something that's pretty up in the air. They have a lot of options on that, but I know Miyamoto loves his sword play with the Wii remote as Skyward Sword really showed off. Okay, now point it up in the air.
Yeah, how many times did we all hold our sword?
Yeah, for anybody who plays Skyward Sword, how many times were you doing this in your living room, just holding your hand up? I'm ready.
What are you doing? I'm just trying to.
Do you have a question?
I'm trying to channel the light.
I'm channeling. Shut up. Yeah.
But other than that, I'm excited for it. They announced other things to kind of wrap up Twilight Princess. They announced other things. Other features that I guess are not amiibo related that they're adding to this version that they said would come and as an announcement at a later time. So I guess we can assume another direct between now and March 4th, which is not not crazy, but
I hope at least one between then.
Obviously the Smash one is not really, it's kind of a different beast, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah. And then they went to the newly released Triforce Heroes for 3DS, and
that was the end of October, right? I think October 23rd, something like that.
Yeah, it was right before the end of November or end of October. And I had my interest in it, but I didn't pick it up. I believe that Linkhold here did not as well, but
I didn't.
We've been talking about it, and we kind of have our thoughts on it because apparently some people have their problems with it because it is mainly multiplayer based, and we know that when it comes to online multiplayer connectivity, it's hard to communicate with people. But the main thing they announced,
and Nintendo's has not always been the best for online multiplayer, unfortunately.
Not at all. Not that games don't work. It's just really simplistic in design.
Sometimes. There are a lot of interesting points on that for Triforce Heroes. So Triforce Heroes, we did have some news in the Direct. We got new stages called the Den of Trials.
Yeah, Den of Trials.
It's a new area.
Yeah, they said that, I guess, main dungeons. Again, we have not played it, but we've done some digging onto it, and the main dungeons have four stages
each.
So Den of Trials is this huge gauntlet of things you have to do, and they said that it's very difficult, but you have like checkpoint systems to, I guess, manage so you don't lose major progress.
Yeah.
But and then along with
30 stages instead of 4, and that's
and that's free.
A huge increase, and it's completely free DLC. Yeah. You're not paying a dime for that.
Yeah, Nintendo, I have to give credit to them for that. I mean, they've done very well introducing new content to their games fairly, I would say. In most cases, I mean,
with Triforce Heroes, they've done a very good job with Splatoon.
Yeah. Now, there's some things that they actually announced in this Direct that not so much. There's definitely some DLC, eccentric type of games that they, are trying to get every dollar out of you, which not really my cup of tea. I mean, some people just, they like to have that, pick it up and do what you want when you want, so they pay for it to kind of keep their addiction going type of thing. But
yeah, and we'll definitely touch on that later.
Yeah.
But Triforce Heroes is an interesting case because when I first heard of it, it sounded really neat. having sort of 3-player puzzles, and I think that's something that I would enjoy a lot because I love Zelda games and puzzle games, and I have always loved playing things like Zelda Four Swords on Game Boy Advance. When that came out, they re-released it several years ago on the DS for free, I believe, on the DSi.
Yeah, they actually was that. I have it on my 3DS. I think they actually offered that as a free download again for the. They may have done that for the 25th anniversary.
Yeah. That may have been it, but it was there again. And I think the past Zelda multiplayer experiences like that, where you're playing as Link, or several Links running around, have been a lot of fun for me. I've really enjoyed them. So when I saw Triforce Heroes, I thought it was going to be something like that. And from what I saw, it looked like that, and it looked like they even amped up the sort of puzzle mechanics or the cooperative mechanics of the game and try to make it really, really involved for every player who's taking part. Now the problem is, or some of the problems that people have been talking about have been, of course, online connectivity. So people jumping online, and you try to play with random people online. You can play with your friends too, but to my understanding, either you're playing with your friends or you're playing with random people. You don't have voice chat in either case, which makes it difficult because sometimes these puzzles, and I'm sure they're very well designed puzzles, and it's not the puzzles that are being complained about themselves. It's that the cooperation needed to actually get through the puzzles is maybe a little bit more than you can get away with just using the preset Nintendo approved responses on your 3DS to communicate with people.
Yeah.
So here you have people trying to work together who have very limited communication, and anybody who ever works in any sort of a team environment, you know that communicating with people is kind of the number one thing. You play any cooperative game online, any kind of strategy game, especially anything to do with strategy or puzzle, you have to be able to communicate to get through it. And what that made me think is that maybe Triforce Heroes is better suited as a local multiplayer game. It's probably much better suited as a local multiplayer game than it is as an online game. And that's what Nintendo has always sort of been known for.
Yeah, I think that they probably built the idea of us, obviously, off of the Four Swords multiplayer game they did. And that was only, obviously back during Game Boy Advance, GameCube days when they brought it on there. Only local multiplayer. So they have good intentions because obviously lots of people want the option to do both. They want to do local or online. But the problem is that Nintendo's always been notorious for the fact that they don't support communicating with strangers, and they really don't support communicating with your friends.
That's what it seems like, and that's the real problem, because the people who are reviewing these games saying I jumped online and I'm even playing with my friends. I can't voice chat with my friends, so now you have to employ some sort of third-party application if you even want to do that. You have to pull up Skype or phone call somebody or something. Otherwise, you're stuck using the same means that you would have to communicate with total strangers, which is frustrating.
And that was a problem that kind of took me away from Monster Hunter 4 was Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on Wii U. I don't think at launch it had voice chat, but I think Capcom brought it in, and it was just great. It worked perfectly. You could voice chat with anyone that you were playing with, and then no voice chat at all. 3DS version, you can't do anything other than, I believe, type messages.
While the monsters are killing you.
Yeah, and that game is very tactical, very precise. Yeah. It takes a lot of skill, and even being able to communicate with my teammates on the 3 and Wii U, it was something that was vital. Being able to say, I'm going to be putting up a barrel bomb, get ready, we're all going to attack it when it's sleeping or something like that. It's really hard to portray that. Or
don't run in while I blow you up and kill everybody.
Exactly. So Nintendo, if they want to continue making these types of games, which I'm sure if these weren't the issue, if you could communicate with voice chat without going through Skype or something, the game probably would have reviewed a lot better. People would have been very happy to play with their friends because they can say, we need to execute this puzzle this way. You jump on the totem here and here. If you've got the boomerang, then you need to be here, but you can't. You just basically do the pictures, and somehow it has to.
I think it's faces or
yeah, it's like little link faces basically that you use to communicate.
So you threw me off an edge, and now I do.
Yeah,
what does that mean? I make an angry face. Okay, well. maybe that satisfies them, and now they want to throw you off the edge again.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, and some people are talking about getting random matchups, and well, your teammate messes up once, and now they've decided that they don't want anybody to succeed. So there were people talking about the teammate would just repeatedly run off the cliff until they got a game over.
And then
Well, there you
lose.
go. Right, everybody loses. Dungeon's over. You just lost. Any progress you made in the dungeon is gone. So that sounds very, very, very frustrating, and you can't communicate. And on top of that, they were saying there were a lot of heavy lag and disconnect problems, which I understand happens, but it's almost surprising to me because I play Smash Brothers on the 3DS all the time, and the connection problems usually aren't that prevalent. I can play a lot and feel like I'm playing a regular speed match without having that many disconnect or lag problems.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's because they didn't anticipate the way the servers would work with this game. They didn't anticipate needing a big server. I mean, it's obviously with Smash Brothers, I would assume at some point they decided, hey, we got to beef up our server to be able to support all these people playing. But Triforce Heroes isn't a demanding game. I mean, I know you have to do some puzzles require like some, fast inputs based off of like timed puzzles, like, oh, you got to hit this, well, I'll hit this kind of thing. But
nothing like Smash Brothers.
Yeah, like there's not enough going on.
Yet the performance is even worse, and that was another big point against them.
But now the big thing, aside from the Den of Trials, which obviously is going to give you more content, is they're giving you 2 free costumes as part of this update too. That releases December 2nd, and it was Linebeck's uniform, which I believe is from Phantom Hourglass.
Yes.
And Fierce Deity Armor, which is from one of my favorite Zelda game, Majora's Mask,
which looks really cool.
It does look really cool. And the the complaint that I did see too is about when you make these outfits give you perks to basically like do certain things or have new abilities. That's why you see these Links dressed in Zelda's dress, or you see one Link dressed as Tingle, whatever. They give you certain abilities, but
Triforce Heroes offers outfits, and that's not something I knew about for a while after I started looking into the game and said, oh my gosh, here are these outfits, and then I learned that you need certain materials to make them. There are certain things you have to do to collect everything to even make your uniform or your outfit. And then, people are complaining that that's a little bit tedious or difficult to do, and there is no way to work with your friends to speed that up.
Yeah, you can't trade materials, you can't do anything like that. You just have to basically grind it out.
Yeah, grind it out, and if you go through a whole dungeon or something and you don't get the thing you were looking for, well, that's that. You don't get it, you have to do it again. And just keep going.
Now, something that, obviously this is basically a Band-Aid on the situation, but they detailed what each of these new costumes you get free do, and Linebeck's uniform will hopefully help people that are looking for certain materials for their costumes. Linebeck's uniform lets you look into each treasure chest before you open it, so you can tell what you're getting, so you know what material will be in there. If like, oh, I know I need blah blah blah, you can open that treasure chest because you can see inside. But obviously you have to be wearing that uniform, otherwise you'll have to just hope that you get what you need. And then the Fierce Deity Armor, it gives you a 4-way directional energy sword attack, which is pretty cool. I mean, obviously you're going to be very offensive because obviously Fierce Deity Armor is built around that. It was a very powerful mask in the game originally, but yeah, I don't understand, if you're going to be collecting the materials all the time, what would be the purpose of having duplicate materials other than trading? You just have them.
That's the problem. You find extras. If you don't need it, you don't need it, and then you have no way of using that time that you spent or those materials that you found to put it towards something else. And that was just another complaint people got. And maybe Linebeck's uniform will help with that. Maybe being able to grind through the 30 free stages in the Den of Trials will help people to get a bigger volume of things as they go through and find more and more supplies. And there's no trading system being implemented, but maybe this DLC, the free DLC, will pump a little bit more life into it. Maybe they'll give a little bit more attention to the servers. We don't know anything about that. They didn't really announce anything explicitly about that. But all in all, I think Triforce Heroes is something I would love to play. It sounds like a blast, but it sounds like I would have to be playing it locally. Otherwise, it would pose a lot of challenges.
Yeah,
I'm sure if it was local, I would really, really enjoy the game. It looks great.
Yeah, and the last thing that has been a complaint is the single player is very very difficult because you have to be
almost
all
impossible.
the links. Yeah, you have to be all the links. You have
All
to
the
coordinate
links.
them.
You are Link and Link and Link.
And
you
if-
are all the links.
Yeah, what if Link was 3 links?
What
You'd
if-
have to be all the links.
What if Link was also Link?
What if you were the missing Link?
Yeah. So that was another thing.
And I don't understand why they would want you to do something. Basically, they give you with single player, you're basically playing as if it sounds like to me you're playing as if there's 3 people there, but you just have to be everyone, and you can't be everyone at the same time, so you have to coordinate them individually. Like you
switch from one to the other, and you have to manually move everybody to go where you want them to go, which if nothing else takes way longer.
Yeah, it sounds to
To
me
do the
like
same
you would
puzzles.
never, if you had the ability to connect that thing online, if you had no one else to play with, why would you go in a single player like that?
You
that's-
wouldn't,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then people jump online, and then your teammates suicide 400 times, or throw you off cliffs, or don't understand what an arrow is.
Yeah,
I don't know what other problems you run into.
I can only assume that. Hopefully this will give them an idea if they're going to continue doing these multiplayer Zelda games. I mean, obviously it's not something they do a lot of, but they did choose to revisit it. So hopefully they'll get some feedback and know, or if anything, obviously it's sad. It kind of comes down to if it had voice chat, you could solve almost every problem.
I'm sure.
Because,
It would
like,
be
let's
cake.
say you were using lineback armor and I knew that, and we're online,
Yeah.
you could look into the chest for me, and I could be like, what's in that chest? Because I need to get this material. And you'd be like, oh, I think there's, like,
Right.
for example, I saw a Zora scale or something. I guess that makes maybe a Zora outfit. Like, you could tell me.
Right. I don't need it. Maybe you do.
Yeah.
You go get it. I don't.
And that would solve so many headaches, obviously, alongside of all the puzzle problems, things like that. But Nintendo just likes to control things and protect everyone, which is fine. But
They're so family friendly that sometimes it overreaches, and that's the real kicker. It's like, if I have you added on my friends list and we're playing together, we're friends, I know you, we're playing together, why can't I talk to you?
yeah,
I more than likely I already personally know you probably very well.
Yeah.
Yes, you can go online and trade friend codes, but that's a lot of runaround that you have to get to add people. Whereas, I'm sure you have friends that might be interested in this, but if you can't voice chat it, things like that are gonna lower the quality and keep people from wanting to get it in the first place. But like I said, if it was local, I think this game would be so much fun. It looks really good. The people that have had decent experiences with it have been saying that the puzzles are great. All the tools, all the thought processes, and figuring everything out is very satisfying.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it is. So maybe a title that's just better to stay locally. If you have a couple of friends, you're all interested in it, I would say go for it. Sounds like fun. If you know that nobody else, you don't have any friends that have a 3DS, or you know that there aren't going to be other people to play with you locally, maybe wait or pass. It's up
yeah,
to
wait
you.
for a sale, if anything.
Buy a
or-
different Zelda game.
yeah, buy
Hyrule Warriors
new
coming
Hyrule
out on
Warriors coming
3DS.
out.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for that. But we'll get to that.
Yeah,
So-
the Splatoon update that they announced. Again,
Splatoon.
another good proof that Nintendo wants to support a lot of their games over a long period of time, and
With
thankfully
free
for
DLC,
free.
yeah.
And I have played a lot of Splatoon. I don't have means to play it right now, so I haven't played a lot of their most recent updates. But yeah, it was awesome to be able to hop on, a couple months after release, and a new stage, these new weapons, and all you had to do is turn the game on. I mean, it basically just updated the file. Didn't take very long, and
No.
you went to your store and you bought the gun, and you got to play the new stages based off of the rotation that they have in ranked or free battle or whatever they do. So the new stages, Museum de Alfonsino, it actually looks really interesting to me, coming from someone who's played Splatoon. Is I guess the main attraction here is that it's actually really cool, like the aesthetics of it. It's like all of this famous art, like in the style of Splatoon, like
Yes.
sea based, like sea animal.
It's a
based.
thoughtful design.
But gameplay wise, there's revolving obstacles, which changes the gameplay a lot in most aspects, because most everything in the original maps that I remember are mostly stationary, and most things that could move you couldn't really hide in. I mean, there were a few things, but These are like these giant. I think most of them were like cross-platform, so they were they had four of these sections sticking out, and they spin, and you can ink them. And obviously, with inking them, not only does it help cover your territory to win, but when you ink the sides, you can swim through them. So that's really good for strategy purposes. Like you can hide in the wall while it's spinning, and you can jump out and attack other people. And there's bunches of these going on, so it would I think it would make for really good, diverse gameplay because you have all these angles you have to watch out for, like who's behind, who could be underneath me while I'm on this platform, who's over there. It could be a lot of fun, and I look forward to playing that hopefully in the future. And then Mahi Mahi Resort, that one looked it looks like it's very hazard oriented, so very dangerous to transverse the stage. So basically,
because this is the level where the water level changes. Is that right?
Yeah, when the end of the match starts to approach, I think it's probably, I would assume, like halfway mark, when half of the match has half the duration has passed, the water level lowers and then more stage is revealed, so it changes something. Like you're used to playing how the stage looks the first half, and then the second half's all different. Water is a hazard, funny enough, for the
for a squid.
For the squid, the inklings.
You like ink, not water.
Yeah, it's like old GTA games. If you touch water, you die. You apparently are a gangster that can survive tons of bullets, car crashes, but you get wet and you're the Wicked Witch of the West. You just melt.
Just like in Splatoon, you're an aquatic animal, but if you touch water, you just dissolve.
Or that weird thing with Super Mario Sunshine where Yoshi's couldn't swim. If Yoshi's got in water in Mario Sunshine, they just dissolved and disappeared.
Oh dear.
I don't know why. They never explained it.
It's almost like it's an Easter egg for the follow-up on Super Mario World, where you just jump off Yoshi all the time to get on top of a cliff, and he would just fall to his death. But hey, you would get to where you were going.
Yeah,
right?
How many dead Yoshis do you think are at the bottom of ravines and things?
Yeah,
in Mario's
moment
world?
of silence for all the dead Yoshis in the bottom of Super Mario World ravines. Whoops. Yeah, they did say they were gonna keep offering updates on Splatoon until January, so it sounds like it's finally gonna round out and come to an end. But they've kept life in this game for a long time, and it's been a very, very successful title for Nintendo. So
and it's
had a good run, and I'm sure it'll keep going for a while, just by popularity.
I think popularity, competitiveness, because of they released Splatnet, which is basically a way for you to
new website.
Yeah, for the people who want to track their stats, and I think you can also use it to team up with people. But you can go on the internet and basically track all your usage of each weapon, I think, and like how much coverage you've done with each weapon, how many splats you've got.
And ask for ASL.
ASL, you can find out if that female inkling's actually a girl or not. That's the important question.
Yeah.
But 40 pieces of new gear were also added. Now, obviously, 40 pieces of new gear, they're not going to detail each one, but it's cool because you have a lot of customizable options. You can dress however you want, and the cool thing about Splatoon in most cases is that you can, if you like a piece of armor but it's not good enough, like obviously there's different tiers. There's like different stars. Like, oh, this one's better. It has more slots. You can do more. There's options to improve that armor, so you can. Like, if you have a headband or a hat you really like, you can improve it, and it can be as good as something you would buy that's 3 slots or 3 stars or whatever.
But you'd rather the appearance be different.
Yeah, so you don't. Cool. Yeah, you don't have to be stuck with only
you don't
the
have to
good
limit
armor.
Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Anything that they add, you can essentially use, and it's just as good. If you improve it, you obviously have to put the time and invest the. I think it's, I don't know what they call it, gold money. It's just money, but
Splatoon money.
The Splatoon money, and you get the Super Sea Snail things. And that's what you do to increase slots, too, if you don't want to spend the money. But and then they also announced some kind of Splatoon tournament, but it sounded like it was only Nintendo employees. Like they're gonna maybe just have like a fun. They called it was the Splat tournament, Splat 2 tournament or something. But yeah, I guess they're gonna do like Nintendo Treehouse employees are playing each other in December.
That's right. Are they streaming that then?
They said they're streaming it on all of their like YouTube, Twitch, and they have their own like live website.
As long as Reggie is playing, then I'm sure everybody will watch.
Reggie, stop falling in the water. Just oh my God, stay
Reggie,
on the
stop.
ledge.
You can't swim. Come on now, Reggie.
But I'm excited for that because when I finally get to play Splatoon again, I mean, I will be very excited to check out all these new stages that they're putting in. Now, the one thing that confused me before we go on is, I don't know if it's wording, but next January. I even rewound it when I was watching the direct again to check how he said it. He said until next January. Does that not imply not this January, but next one?
I don't
next
know.
year?
I don't know. Because they said they're releasing all of this stuff in December. Is that right?
Well, no, actually,
December is the tournament.
Yeah, December. No, they released. They released all of this update
with the direct. Is that right?
One with the direct, and then there was another batch the day after. So it's all out now.
Huh. Okay.
As you're watching this, it's all out. Apparently.
So maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I tried to figure it out.
It's a bit ambiguous.
What do you guys think?
Find out.
Put in the comments what you think. Is it until next year or is it this January? Because he didn't say this. I checked. He said next January, which I believe grammar implies that that is not.
I know if I were talking about January, I would say this January.
Yeah, because
if I said next January, I would personally mean 2017. But I think some people would say that backwards or differently or something. So it's ambiguous, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. Because this January is not that far off.
Yeah,
so
I don't know. I could only assume that they would want to. I mean, this game's been very good to them, so I don't know if they want to put paid DLC eventually. But if they're willing to support it for free until the end of next year, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it's. I mean, if anything, maybe they're doing that to sell systems. I mean,
that's what I was.
We don't know
say.
what's going on with the NX
like
and all that.
Splatoon
so.
sells. I think Splatoon sells systems. Smash Brothers sells systems.
And they actually we weren't going to really touch on this, but that reminds me, if you don't have a Wii U, the Black Friday bundle is Splatoon and Smash Brothers together, which basically they're two best games. So.
You don't have a Wii U yet. Now is a good time.
Yeah.
Because you want to have it in time for Twilight Princess HD. You want to have it in time for Zelda Wii U, which hopefully, like we said, is coming out by next holiday.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to have to, show up at Black Friday next year with a knife or something and have to stab people for Zelda, because once the new Zelda's out, things are going to get a little heated.
That game, they only showed they showed like a little tiny taste, but man, it looks good.
So get your Wii U now if you're planning on it. Try to snag one this year, because that Black Friday one is really nice. Smash Brothers and Splatoon are two solid titles, and you'll be set for a little while.
And another reason, the next thing they talked about a little bit, another reason to own a Wii U, definitely. I mean, if you like Mario at all,
if you like Nintendo at all, you probably like Mario.
We assume that you know who Mario is, and if you don't know who Mario is, Mario's an Italian. So they basically wanted to detail mainly. They brought up Mario Maker to talk about their new Portal website. Now, it actually amazed me. It doesn't surprise me, but it does amaze me that there are 3.3 million courses available in Mario Maker. Now, obviously,
Mario Maker has basically become the Mario version of Little Big Planet, and Little Big Planet was a very, very big title for PS3. It was huge. Both the first two were, and I think the third one just launched, but I don't know much about that. But yeah, there was so much user created content, and now Super Mario Maker has done that for Mario or for Nintendo, which is fantastic. And no wonder we have millions and millions of levels now, because it's that easy to make one, and there's some really interesting stuff.
Now, something interesting that I heard Miyamoto say when they were talking about, like, originally Mario Maker started as internal development tools, easier to make Mario levels, but they're like, this is so fun that we want to make it our own game.
Yeah.
And apparently good
thing they did.
They had another project trying to basically, I guess they wouldn't remake it, but they were trying to bring back Mario Paint. So the idea came together. They're like, well, let's just bring this project of Mario Paint and Mario Maker together, and we'll just basically... That's why there's, like... If you guys ever played Mario Paint, there's some aesthetics and things that, like, oh, this looks like Mario Paint, like the things you can do, some of the interface, stuff like that. But Miyamoto said that when they finished Mario Maker, that the tools available in Mario Maker to make, like, Super Mario World levels are much more powerful than anything they had to make the original Super Mario World. So technically, you have the ability to make a better game than Super Mario World, which is crazy, because that's one of the most revered games of all time.
Ever.
So the fact that that's how good Mario Maker is, just it really solidifies how wonderful this is, how great, how many great levels you could make. Now, obviously, I've seen a lot of Mario Maker. I've watched it on Twitch, and there are a lot of just like, let's put as many obstacles and make this as they make
as unfair and unrealistic as possible.
Yeah, they make it unfair because they think that there's so many people that think that the hardest possible level means it's going to be fun and people want to play it. No,
not always. You have to make it hard in a clever way. You know, hidden blocks are a good way to, you know,
piss people off.
Well, yeah, it's a good way to say, hey, wow, look at you. You made it through this whole level. It's pretty difficult. There's the flag, and you jump over the last little gap. Boom, dead.
How did you not know that block was...
You made it this far, but you jumped right into that one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
I would laugh at that. If I lost to that, I would laugh at it. That'd be hilarious.
I think there's a place for that, but there are people that literally like build their levels around just making it unfair, and it's not... You're not figuring out. It's not like aha, I did this with skill, or I figured out the puzzle. It's not a Zelda puzzle now. They're just they're putting you in a situation that they don't want you to win, but you can because you can. That's a nice thing about the system of Mario Maker. You have to beat your own level
to be able to publish it, right?
To be able to publish it.
That's crazy.
So
some of these are really, really hard.
Yeah. So the fact that people, I mean, obviously, if you know the intricate workings of some of these levels, you probably have an advantage. But yeah, you do have to beat the level. But anyway, the portal system makes it easier for you to find levels that you specifically want, which is great because I know that there's a search system in Mario Maker, but because of the diverse amount of levels that they've created now, like auto levels have become very popular. That's where like Mario, you just basically let Mario do what he does and he gets to the end without doing anything. You can pick things based off of, what is it, like sound effects, certain items, certain aesthetics, music.
Because some people just compose music with their levels.
Yeah, I think some of the auto levels actually make music, which is interesting. But
that's cool stuff.
So Mario Maker, I mean, you only have to look forward to more great Mario stuff.
More content, plus all the amiibo functionality. If you have any amiibos, I think almost all amiibos work.
I think they all do.
All amiibos work with Mario Maker. Maybe not Shovel Knight or something. I don't know if he does. Some of the newer ones, but chances are
all released amiibos do work.
Okay. Anything that's out now, I know, and some look really cool. Having Sonic or Mega Man in as Mario it's really neat.
And I like the aspect where they didn't just make it aesthetic. You know, when you do, like, if you're Sonic or Mega Man, they added the actual sound effects. When Sonic jumps, you know, it sounds like Sonic, or when Mega Man jumps, it sounds like Mega Man. So that's cool that they went the extra mile and made sure that everyone has their own, you know, individual, you know, characteristics instead of just, you know, pasting something on top and be like,
here's the sprite, have fun.
Yeah.
No.
And some of the, I think not everyone, but some of the costume Marios, when you beat the level, actually has like a little clip it from like their game. Like I think if you beat the levels, as Sonic, for example, like you hear the like
it's the music, right?
Yeah, you hear like the level complete music from Sonic. You know,
It's Mario Maker is so cool. If you don't have it, think about it. Take a look at it. Check out some stuff on YouTube on Mario Maker because there's so many cool levels that people have streamed or recorded just on YouTube. There's a lot of Mario Maker content, and you can see people have some really great ideas. And being able to share it was the whole point of Mario Maker to begin with. And here it is, and it's developing and it's growing so much that Nintendo has had to adapt even more. But that's a very good thing for Mario Maker. Mm-hmm. And of course, the website communicates with your Wii U. So I think if you queue levels or pick levels on the website, when you hop on your Wii U, it's easy to just go straight to those after you already found them online, which is fantastic.
I'll admit, we didn't time ourselves. This could be a huge episode. I'm gonna start timing this. It's okay, guys. Now, a game that I don't think I'm going to be looking at anytime soon. I don't think, but Amiibo Festival. Animal Crossing. Amiibo. Yeah. Have you ever walked into a Target or anything?
Amiibo. Walk by the display. Amiibo.
Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. It looks fun, but it's very heavy on Amiibo, so you have to be willing to invest in the cards, the figures. I mean, if you're a big Animal Crossing fan, you might already be doing that because Animal Crossing doesn't get a whole lot of love here anyway. So getting a figure or a card might be cool, but yeah, you've got to buy a 13...
Animal Crossing fans I know are die-hard Animal Crossing fans, and I've played quite a bit myself, but I'm definitely not as enthusiastic as the people I know who have just dumped so much time in Animal Crossing. And there's a lot to do. It's fun.
There's a lot to do, but I always reach a point where I'm like, there's stuff I can do, but I keep doing the same stuff. Like, that's a problem I've always had with Animal Crossing. We kind of... I'm getting off topic a little bit, but Yeah, it's just the centric around the figures and the amiibos, the amiibo cards and things. The gameplay looks cool. They kind of detailed what you do in the board game a little bit. You live out a month, apparently, of like, in town, and like I guess you based out of like, I don't know. They don't show a whole lot, but I guess you go around the board, and based off of certain events, you like carry out things, and eventually you get happy points for doing like things for
Happy
neighbors.
points.
And
Sounds like something from Bob Ross.
Yeah, Bob Ross approves of this
That's
game.
some happy points.
Happy little points.
Yeah, when I was watching this on the direct and they started showing that, what else did they show? They had oh right, they put you on an island. I saw the board game and the island thing, and I'm watching Animal Crossing in the direction. I go, okay, it's Animal Crossing Mario Party. Okay, now Animal Crossing Survivor. We're gonna stick you on an island so you can kill each other and not starve.
I think that's what
I was laughing. I was laughing at it, but
I
I'm
think
sure
the amiibo cards do that. That was like
It was neat.
The island thing was like a mini game you unlock with the cards that you get or you don't get, but you use in the new. That I didn't have any interest in this game either. I don't know. What do you guys think about the Happy Home Designer? I mean, I like making my home in Animal Crossing, but that is that's not my focus.
Much.
Like, I don't like doing it that much. Like, I'll be honest, if you've ever, if you guys have, are already people that watch me on Twitch, when I've streamed Animal Crossing, I like collecting the items, but when I go into my house, it's just a big cluster of stuff. Like, I don't know where to put it. I just got junk everywhere, and I'm like, yeah, let's just go there. Like, I like it. It's displayed. It's done.
That's what I did. I started getting all like the Nintendo-based items or cool-looking items like that, and I wanted to show them off. So once I grew my house enough, I just went into. I had a side room that was designated just to completely fill up with crap. So you couldn't walk in the room.
Yep.
You walked in, you had the one space that you're required to have by the door, and
so
everything else was filled. So I think you'd have to zoom out to see everything, and like you could kind of see everything, but I had all the cool stuff in there.
Yeah. Now it is amazing. Some people, I mean, I think that game is definitely made for people because when I played with some of my viewers and went to their towns,
it's
people
gorgeous.
are
It's
they're
impeccable.
amazing. Like their entire town is impeccable. It's
when they go to apply for a job, they're going to apply as an interior designer, and Animal Crossing is going to be their portfolio. Here, look what I made.
They're just
all
going to
these
crack open
rooms
their
out.
3DS. Yeah,
Here's my
take
portfolio.
a look at my town. I to be honest, I mean they should definitely look into something like that because they did really good work. I mean the town had organized paths, they had gardens, they had everything, every single. They had most of these people would create all 4 villagers so they could have 4 houses to put their stuff in and organize. So
4 houses to make extra cool and awesome.
And
I'm like, well, I planted about 20 trees in a 5x5 space, and I can barely walk, but I get a lot of fruit from it.
Yeah,
and there's weeds everywhere, but I have fruit. That's how I played Animal Crossing. But yeah, Animal Crossing is one of the titles. Well, it's out now, but at least it's available before Christmas, which is important. Like we said, there are not a lot of Nintendo titles that are available for Christmas this year, but I think this one is a bigger one that will be available and just came out a few days ago. So
and I think maybe it'll be good for Nintendo because you can
Amiibo
you can buy a bunch of all these amiibos for Christmas too to pair it with.
Which is basically just raking in the cash, amiibos. Ever since Activision started this with Skylanders, it's run amok. But I don't have any Skylanders, but I do have a couple amiibos.
If you go to any of these stores now, it's basically like the Toys to Life section. Like the whole aisle is amiibos, Skylanders, Legos, Disney Infinity. I mean, there's just a whole aisle of stuff.
It's a thing now. It has been.
I can't argue that a lot of it is appealing. I've never been appealed to Skylanders. I guess because. Not that the original designs aren't appealing, but I don't really care. Like, none of the characters are like, that's cool enough that I want to own these toys. When they were Spyro-based, like, when I saw the Spyro Skylander, I'm like, that might be cool, because I like Spyro. He's an old school PlayStation character. But any of the other ones, I don't really care about. But no, like, walking in and seeing, especially with Disney Infinity now and Lego, you got all these cool licensed characters in the Lego section.
Marvel in there.
Yeah, Marvel.
And Star Wars, because Disney owns all of this.
Yeah, so you've got Aladdin next to Venom, next to Qui-Gon Jinn. It's crazy. You get all these cool characters that you can play in the same game, but man, the price. You buy 3. You buy 3 toys, and you're probably already spending plus the game. You're probably
could have bought the
couple
game
$100
twice or something. Yeah. So
But
it's something to invest in if you really enjoy it. Like, I don't own all the amiibos. I own a handful of amiibos because they're the ones I like a lot, and I'm looking to get maybe 2 or 3 more. And that's probably all I want because those are my favorite characters.
Yeah.
But speaking of amiibos, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash for Wii U introduced a new functionality for amiibos, which is really cool. And it's not just playing against or with your amiibos, but it's that the amiibos can go online, and that's new. You can't take your amiibos online in Smash Brothers or anything else, as far as I know. And that's really cool functionality.
Yeah. They get a lot of games that are supporting amiibos now, which is really cool. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. They were talking about, and now I for some reason I must have missed a bunch of information on this game, but they kind of talked about some of the systems of how it works. So you get like these jump shots where you can jump really high and intercept the ball before it lands. You can also do the Ultra Smash, which is in coordination with that on these there's little they call them smash points, and you can jump there and then you do like the big ultra move that I guess is basically unstoppable.
Basically like getting a final smash in Mario Tennis.
Yeah, like once you do it, there's nothing
cool.
you can
it's
do. Cool. And then they've got like the more Mario based affairs. They detailed Mega Battle where they throw in Mega Mushrooms and you're giant playing tennis, and obviously you're huge and you can cover the tennis court better, and I'm sure you get bigger, harder hits on the ball. But something I did like, because I'm actually a big fan of the original for 64.
Oh yeah.
And it was very it was very down to earth. I mean, I know that a little bit, like if you're playing like as Paratroopa, he can kind of flutter around and it feels a little bit non-traditional, but you can do the classic simple mode where it's basically just tennis, which I think that there's a place for both. Like, I like playing with over-the-top Mario stuff, but at the same time, like, if I wanted to maybe do ranked simple mode where I can just play tennis with some of the characters I like, it's also there, so you're not, constantly... That was something I had a problem with in Sega All-Stars Tennis.
Just kind of over the top all the time.
Yeah, like, it was basically, you didn't have the option to play simple tennis, and at a certain point, it was like this back and forth, like, whose All-Star move's gonna win, basically.
Beat the other one, yeah.
Yeah, and...
Well, Nintendo's really come into this theme of offering the full decked out over the top version of the game and the dialed back more bare bones version. I mean, look at Smash Brothers. You can play, if you're playing online, it's offered very explicitly. You have for fun, where you play all stages go, or almost all stages, and then all items. So you have all the bells and whistles, you have Final Smash, you have all the crazy items and things that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can jump into For Glory, which is the very bare bones, no items, all the stages are flat.
Yeah.
So it's just character on character. And it's the same dichotomy they have there, and they have now in Mario Tennis, and I'm sure there are other games we could think of that have that kind of setup.
Yeah. And as Lincoln mentioned earlier, the big thing, and actually that surprised me, is the amiibo support. You can do single player amiibo, and it's actually a little hand in hand. You have to almost do both. So you do something called Amiibo Knockout Challenge, where you play doubles matches, but you play with your amiibo. So let's say you have a Luigi character. I think they showed that. So you put your Luigi amiibo down, and he's your partner. He plays, and then as he plays, he gains experience, and you unlock, I think, like almost Smash Brothers like you. I think I saw you unlock badges and things where you can customize his stats and how he plays. So after you play a lot, you can customize him to play how you want. Like, is he, someone who covers the field more? Is he a power hitter or things like that? And so you have someone who's more, tuned to how you play. Maybe, maybe he plays better because of how you play, or you can customize him to maybe make up for some slack that it's hard for you if you, are having trouble. So after you customize him, then you can take him online. That's just really cool.
Then so you can see how other people, what they've done with their amiibos, and that's pretty neat. Like, I enjoy using amiibos with Smash Brothers, and that's the only thing that I have them for right now. But I don't really get to see anybody else's unless I go over and hanging out with somebody that has amiibos and has Smash Brothers, and then I get to see how they behave for a little bit. But when you can jump it online at any time, you get to learn about all these different strategies from all these different people. And that's a really cool experience. I'm glad they did it.
Yeah, and it's also good for people that, you know, there's probably some people out there that maybe they don't have someone to play with online, or they don't want to meet up, you know, they don't want to, you know, just have a random person help them, because you can control who's helping you a little bit more, so it's nice for them too. And it also gives you incentive to maybe do the knockout challenge. Yeah. So
then you don't have to deal with your Triforce Heroes partners who are jumping off cliffs.
Yeah, your partner's just standing in the corner. Not doing anything.
Purposely faulting every serve. I'll just shoot it into the net.
Or even worse, if they get the ball and they just don't serve, they just stand there. Like, I'm just not going to do anything.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't even want to think about that. People in the disconnects. Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's a scary thing. I haven't had too many troll problems. I'm going to trust Nintendo
and just hope that they've thought out their workarounds for things like that.
Yeah. Well, thankfully with maybe they'll do something like I'm trying to remember what happens. Like Splatoon, if you are if you stand around too long and you're not doing anything, it just kicks you out. But everyone else can keep playing. Right. But I think that you then are at a disadvantage. I don't know if it matches someone else up and throws you into that game. I don't know if it does that. I don't remember. If you guys remember, please let me know. I don't remember. I know that it'll kick you out if you stand around for like 30 seconds. Then it boots you out because you're not doing anything. But the problem there is that I don't remember if it gives someone else. Or not. Yeah.
Well, even not replacing you might almost be better, because then.
Well, it's good. I mean, it's good to get rid of someone who's not doing anything. But that game is it's well balanced. So it's so dependent on everyone doing something that when you lose one person, it's very hard to make up the slack with the other three. It's very hard. I'm sure you guys who play Splatoon know that. I mean, every person counts.
But any team game is a little bit like that, but some more than others, and it sounds like Splatoon is built well enough to be balanced where it's supposed to be. So.
Yeah. But yeah, Mario Tennis, I believe, comes out this year. I thought I had the release date and wrote down.
Before Christmas?
I thought so. I thought I had it written down. But
it may be one of the few titles.
Yeah, if you want to look that up.
I will.
I swear that I wrote that down. I think it is one of the few titles that comes out.
2015? Where's the date?
Maybe they didn't give it. I thought it was a December date. That's what I remember.
It may be.
But anyway, I think that's one of the few games you can look forward to before 2016 rolls around.
Well, the next game we're going to talk about does come out before Christmas.
Yeah. Now, it has been out in Japan for a while.
Right.
That's one reason. I think that they just were spending their time, obviously, getting it here localized. Now, unfortunately, I have not played very much of Xenoblade Chronicles. I have it, and I played it a little bit on my stream, but I called it quits, one, because there just wasn't a lot of people, coming in to watch it. And it's unfortunate, because it was a fun game, but there was also a little bit of, maybe it was me, maybe it's a balancing issue. I talked to some people that have also played it, and they kind of agreed that there are parts that are just insanely hard, and you kind of have to grind it out to even, like, make it. Like, that was the weird thing. Like, at a certain point, I probably was I think I streamed it for 2 days, so I had to have been, like, 10 or 20 hours in. I mean, I don't think it was 20 hours, but I was going about the story, and I didn't do anything to avoid fighting. Like, I would make sure that I got in most fights that came my way, so I would get experience. But then I came to a point where I was just being destroyed, and I had the battle mechanics down. You know, I understood how things worked, but I just was getting my ass handed to me. I couldn't do anything. I just kept getting killed, and I was getting really frustrated.
It seems funny if you hadn't been avoiding battles.
That's what didn't make sense to me. I'm like, if
you dodged everything the whole time, you get to the further area, you're gonna get killed because you haven't been leveling up or anything.
Yeah.
So.
But I had a lot of fun. It was a very interesting story. The game, even in the Wii version, the original, it had a huge world. And Xenoblade Chronicles X for Wii U. I'll talk a little bit about that. It comes December 4th.
And Mario Tennis does come out November 20th. So that's actually only a few days away.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually sooner than I thought.
So yeah, those two will be out before Christmas for Wii U, and that's a good thing. But Xenoblade Chronicles X is another big title, of course. And with the inclusion of Shulk and Smash Brothers, they're trying to get a little more Xenoblade, I guess, publicity just to get it going.
Yeah.
It looks really good. It looks great. It looks a lot like Monster Hunter, to be honest, but I'm sure it plays quite differently. I've never played a Xenoblade game.
Yeah, it's I think maybe aesthetic wise, like kind of looking at the environment, I kind of could get that feel. Um, the the game I believe has reviewed pretty well in Japan. And I know a lot of people have imported it because they couldn't wait.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Now the cool thing, I don't believe there's any mechs in the original. Again, I haven't beaten it, but the big thing here is that you can use these mechs called skells, which you can fight with, you can travel in. I mean, they're very diverse.
Sounds like they tried to really make it part of the game instead of just saying, "Oh, you can kind of do this."
Exactly.
No, they want you to do it. That's good.
And then the big thing they kind of wanted to tell people is the fact that if you buy it physically, I assume, I mean, it is a gigantic game. Actually, I'm going to kind of touch on something I read right before we recorded this about how big the world is. It's crazy how big this world is.
That must be
but
a lie.
the downloadable packs that you need to download, well, you don't have to. They recommend you download all of them.
Right. So,
but they're
so
big.
they prefaced it, and this hasn't really been a thing. At least not with Nintendo before, where they said, if you're going to get Xenoblade Chronicles X, we recommend downloading these free before you get the game. Download these big packs that help load up, I guess, the maps or the enemies and things like that. Help to optimize everything. And they said none of it is required.
Yeah, you don't have to.
But they really recommend that you download. There's 4 of them. There's 4 different ones for different things.
Yeah, they've got them, I think, categorized. Like, one's basic, which I'm assuming is, most core mechanics of the game, so it loads faster. And then I think there's enemies, probably environment. They listed them. I unfortunately don't have them written down.
They did, but the point is that they listed them, they introduced all this, and they said it's really primarily just to improve loading times, so that you don't sit at the screen forever and ever and ever while it's reading this tons and tons of data off the disc. Because, like you said, it's a big game, and it's probably a huge game. And the fact that they're doing this, there's 4 of them, and they made a really big point to tell people to do it, means this game is probably huge.
Yes.
And frankly, if you're getting the game, yeah, I think you should go ahead and download all 4 of them. Why wouldn't you? They're free. You can download them before the game even comes out. They just want you to have it ahead of time, and why not use it to buff up your gaming experience?
Yeah, and from what I've read, the game, I assume these people that were demoing it or playing it, maybe they had these packs installed already. If you download it digitally, it's a part of it. You can't avoid
It's automatic.
Yeah, it's part of the whole package you download. But if you have it physically, you have the option of downloading these packs. Obviously, it takes up more room on your hard drive or your Wii U if you don't have one, just your internal memory. But it's supposedly completely seamless. Like, there is no loading screens. Like, you go through everything.
Well, that explains, because each of those little packs, I think, were a couple of gigabytes.
Oh yeah,
they were 3 or 4 gigabytes each. So yeah, if you're getting Xenoblade Chronicles X,
I would say download them,
or just download the whole game while you're at it, because you're already downloading. I think you'll probably be downloading well over 10, maybe close to 15 gigabytes just in these packs. Which it's kind of a bummer, but
better
it's going to make your experience really smooth.
I would say if you're going to be marathoning that game, download them all and play them that way, and then when you're done, or you're maybe going to play it a little less, then dump all the added packs.
Because you can still play it.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo said, you don't need any of them to play it.
But what I was referring to earlier is that someone, I saw a few things on my Twitter feed this morning. People were talking about how big the world is in Xenoblade, and I watched a video of someone trying to demonstrate this. And now, again, a bigger world doesn't mean that it's a better game. I mean, obviously, they have to fill the world with something interesting and worthwhile doing. But as far as the actual scale, I mean, obviously, we won't know until we play it. But the scale of the game is gigantic. And the person that was comparing it to Skyrim, have you played Skyrim at all?
No.
Skyrim, I did play a little bit of it, but it is very big. It is a gigantic world. I mean, from what I remember, trying to get around, most of the time I would fast travel because it was, a gigantic continent. But anyway, that game was, well received because of how big and diverse the world was and how much you could explore. But the guy, he put Xenoblade Chronicles X next to Skyrim, and he had his character just basically run from point A to point B across the entire world map. And then he also had his character in Xenoblade Chronicles using his scale to travel faster than running on foot. He used, I think it was like there's like a motorcycle mode so you can like travel really fast across terrain.
That's cool.
The guy in Skyrim got to the end of the map well before the guy using the motorcycle got to the end of
using the motorcycle.
Oh
my gosh!
So they said that you could fit like 5 worlds of Skyrim inside of Xenoblade.
So Xenoblade, it really is huge.
It's gigantic.
It's really cool.
Now, someone that in the comments,
it's worth
someone
your hard drive space.
I would say so. Someone in the comments of that video kind of mentioned. Which I did notice after kind of looking at it was you don't come across a lot of random enemies when you're just running around in Skyrim, but when he was running around in Xenoblade, there were many times where he had to like bypass enemies that were like around him. So it seems like the world is inhabited with a lot of things as far as enemies to encounter or whatever it may be. So that right there, at least if you're traveling somewhere in the game, you have things around. It's not just dead space, which is
that would be useless.
Really problematic in some open world games, which really sucks because again, like I said earlier, bigger does not mean better. Ladies.
All right.
It's not the size of your open world; it's how you use it.
That's right. So jumping back to 3DS for a little bit, Nintendo has 2 things that they advertised and they launched as free to start. So not free to play, free to start.
Yeah, they used that a couple times. This direct free to start
for these two very interesting things. So the first one is the Nintendo Badge Arcade for 3DS, which is essentially you go and you play in the Badge Arcade, and these badges that you earn in the arcade are things that you use to customize your home screen. And like they said, it's free to start. So your first, 5 plays or something, you get to play through their games or their machines or whatever they call them in the arcade a few times to try to win these decorations for your home screen. After that, they want you to pay for your plays. And I think it's $1 for 5 plays. So it's like paying, it's less than a quarter per play. And they're trying to make it very akin to being at a real arcade where you would be playing or you'd be paying for each play. And to my understanding, there are ways to earn free plays, or there's like a practice machine so you can practice your skills and not waste your money if you are buying it. But they're trying to be very realistic about it. In fact, the character that's like a sort of a bunny is the game host. And if you talk to him enough, he will explain that they need real money because they are trying to make a real product. And for this portion of this explanation, his animation turns from the animated rabbit they have to a picture of a real bunny. And
really?
A picture of a real bunny replaces him, and it looks really funny.
Did you download
but it's
it?
pink. No, I didn't. I was watching all this stuff and looking up information on it, but oh my gosh, it's really funny. But anyway,
I did not know that.
It's a free to start thing, and it's interesting because they're really trying to sell it. And honestly, it does look really cool. You can build your own home screen. Home screen's kind of neat. They already sell themes for it, but now you can build your own themes.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, my thoughts on it, and maybe, I haven't downloaded it, so maybe there are more opportunities to play for free, but from what they detailed in the Direct, the only thing I'm going off of is you download the game, they give you 5 chances, which I haven't seen any other variety of gameplay other than a crane game. Was there anything else that they demoed? Or
I only saw a crane game, so I assume there's something else, but it may just be a crane game.
But the arcade game,
might add more stuff
you
later.
use a crane and you pick up the badges, and if you pick it up and drop it like a crane game, you win that prize. They detailed that you only get 5 free chances when you download it. So you get 5 chances to actually get a badge that you can use on your home screen.
Right, free to start. And
then they said every day you have 5 practice chances to practice playing the crane game, but you don't win anything. Like if you win, it's basically a dummy prize, and you just get to try, to practice using the crane so you can, I guess, do it better when you actually play for real. But that means that every time you want to do it, you have to put in $1. Otherwise, you're just gonna be practicing and not doing anything. But I guess the only way I could justify it is, one, if you really, really love customizing your home screen, you probably already spend money buying themes.
Yeah.
So obviously you're already putting your money in themes.
I put a Zelda one a while back.
Yeah, I don't blame people. There are themes that are really cool. It gives you cool music, and you can obviously get a little bit of
So
a new
customization
environment.
like that, and it's Nintendo tapping more into this almost like a smartphone app market. Obviously, they finally kind of broke down and decided to go in on smartphones with Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is a huge thing, but now it's like they're trying to bring the same economy back to the 3DS.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll start doing stuff like this for Wii U as well. But being able to customize your home screen by making microtransactions, that's the focus, right? You have microtransactions of trying to win these new things. And they're using the same thing for another eShop, 3DS eShop title, which is the Pokemon Picross. Or Picross, however they say it. What do they say?
I think some people say Picross, some people say Picross.
Picross makes me hungry.
Yeah, it's
But
a delicious
it's
free
another
to start.
it's another free to delicious free to start. It's another free to start title, but it's a puzzle game and free to start again. So they're banking on microtransactions for people to buy in and get more out of it.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really. The Pokemon Picross. It looks like it's really just using the Pokemon license. It's just a Picross game at heart. It just looked like I haven't played Picross, but it's your standard like number game.
It's been around for a while.
You basically Picross is basically it's a number game, but you are solving it to reveal a picture. Like that's the main reason. You like reveal a picture by doing the right solutions.
And it does really seem like they just took that and slapped Pokemon on it, and
which
they
I guess
want you to
isn't
pay to get more Pokemon out of it.
Sure, yeah, I guess
it's they're very short puzzles. I guess they were advertising it as sort of a hey, take out your game when you have some free time, solve a puzzle or two, put it away.
Yeah, I don't know what the I don't know what the cost of playing, or if you get like free plays every day. Because the weird thing of how you pay for it is you play the Picross game. You can basically, when you reveal a picture of a Pokemon, you capture that Pokemon, and then you can use that Pokemon's ability to help you in the next puzzle.
Right.
Like they all have their own abilities. So that's the way you can like help yourself in the game certain ways when you capture a Pokemon by solving a puzzle. But then there's things called pick rights, and those are all they said is they also help make solving the puzzles easier, and you can purchase them it sounded like you can also get them in the game free. So I don't know.
Right. It's so reminiscent of smartphone games.
Yeah.
Like the dreaded Candy Crush, which was just sold to Activision, in case you didn't know, and that's a new story of itself. But
yeah,
it's so reminiscent of smartphone apps and microtransactions like that. Like, yeah, you can play through all of Candy Crush without paying for anything, or you can pay for some stuff and make it way easier.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, yeah, the game is fully playable without it. Right. You can fully play it without it, arguably. But they want you to buy stuff. They want you to buy into it, even if you don't actually need to progress. And that's the thing. And I think some people are kind of down about that, but I think Nintendo's being fairly realistic, and that is how a lot of money is made and a lot of business is done is concerning gaming now. It's a micro thing. It's a small thing. And it's a trend.
I'm just happy
that's well alive right now. So it's smart of them to tap into it. I think I'll probably pass on things like this.
Yeah, if you're interested, it comes out in December. eShop. The Nintendo Badge Arcade is eShop only. I played Pokemon Shuffle, which was actually fun. It was a fun game. And it was one of those that I particularly play because you can play it for free no matter what, if you're willing to just like stop playing when you run out of tries. Basically, it's one of those, if you have a certain amount of tries, you can keep playing, and then like once you run out, you can buy more. And you just
wait.
Yeah, you just wait.
Just wait and play later.
That's what I do. I mean,
so it's free.
That's what's nice about those. But free to start sounds like you have to pay to continue, which that I don't care for.
Right, and that's the new thing with the Badge Arcade and Pokemon Picross. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think they're both. Badge Arcade's already out. Picross is launching in December, right? So
yeah, I'm happy that Nintendo isn't focusing on those. It's something that they offer, but like, there's a lot of these companies that are like, this is the way of the future, like mobile gaming and mobile, transactions with microtransactions. That's the way that the money's made, and that's the games that people want to play.
It does make money. It does make a lot of money, but I would not say, and I'm sure lots of you agree with us, that it's not the way people want to play games.
No, it should just be a time waster. That's it.
That's what I use it for,
Yeah.
and that's it. And I don't even use it that often because if I'm back at home, like I'm not gonna waste my time playing Pokemon Shuffle on my phone when I can just boot up Pokemon on my DS, which I can bring with me anyway if I want to take it somewhere.
Yeah.
Or I'll play some other game, something more immersive, because I don't really care for that.
True. Yeah.
That it kills my smartphone's battery so fast.
Yeah,
They all do.
That's one thing. I don't want to
But-
play mobile
but-
games
but
because
yeah,
of
so-
that. Yeah, I go somewhere, and by the time I'm done playing my one mobile game, it's
Well,
like,
I can make one phone call in case I get attacked or mugged or something.
yeah.
Otherwise,
I
my phone's
better
gonna
hope
die.
I have a good day today.
Yeah. So after that, we heard more on Pokken Tournament, which is really cool. I love Tekken. They didn't release much new news. We already knew that Shadow Mewtwo is a playable character. They showed a little bit more gameplay on him. They showed a Mega Evolution. It looks really cool. I'm sure the game's a blast. I have played Tekken to death.
Yeah.
I'm not even that good at it, but I really enjoy it, so I play it
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, Pokken Tournament. Have you seen like the main gameplay?
I've
like,
seen a lot of gameplay of it, and
Yeah.
it's very different from just Tekken because
yeah,
they've
it's very
implemented
like
moves.
arena based.
Because at first I'm thinking, how is like Charizard gonna move like a Tekken fighter? Like he's way too big. He's got
Yeah.
wings and stuff. But they
arm
made
attacks, leg
Yeah.
attacks. Yeah.
he's gonna punch you with his little T-Rex arms. But they made it work. They made it work well, and I like how it looks. It
Yeah,
looks like a lot of fun. I still haven't been able to play it, of course, but
Yeah, the big
I'm
thing
looking
that they
forward to it.
announced is if you buy the game, apparently on its first production run, you get an amiibo card for Shadow Mewtwo. So apparently he's something you can unlock under certain game conditions, of what they said. So I'm
which
assuming he's
basically sounds like you unlock him later on at
like
some
when you
point
beat the
anyway
game
for
or
free,
something.
right?
Yeah.
So it's just like it's just an incentive.
I would say it's honestly,
Fire game.
if you're already planning to buy it, which I am, I would like to play that game. It's more of a collector's thing, I would think. Like
Yeah.
having a Shadow Mewtwo amiibo.
Having
card.
the actual card is more important than getting him in the game, since you can already unlock him in the game anyway.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
And
It'll be a good title.
And they didn't give an exact release date, just spring 2016. So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I mean, other than just wanting to play it, they haven't really. I mean, I think everyone that is interested in this game has seen everything there is to
lots of
see about
footage,
it.
Yeah.
You know, we're just waiting to get our hands on it and try out the mechanics. And I would assume by 2016 there's going to be new content. I would assume, but you know, obviously
It's been
there's a long
growing.
time going until that time.
It's
So
been growing. We'll find out.
Star Fox Zero, which was originally
Supposed to launch
it was originally
at the end of this year,
a 2015 game. Yeah,
but Nintendo
not bad.
doesn't.
It's not
no,
a bad thing.
Not
It's
bad.
just-
Nintendo doesn't like to release stuff that's unplayable
Mhm.
or gimpy or anything like that. And kudos to them for being devoted to making quality.
Yes.
Because as everybody runs into some title eventually from one publisher or another that probably should have never left.
Yeah, it's basically still in
Basic
beta. and
planning,
You're playing it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But so it got delayed. That's a bummer. All in all, though, I'm a big Star Fox fan. I played it on 64. I didn't ever actually play the Super Nintendo version, but I didn't have a Super Nintendo when I was little. But I played Star Fox 64 to death, and then I got to get on 3DS and play it to death again. So I love Star Fox. I think Star Fox is a really cool franchise. I love the characters. I love the designs. And everything they've done with Star Fox Zero, to me, looks really cool. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I think in the Direct, they showcased a couple of new vehicles.
Yeah.
So we already knew about the R-Wing, of course, and the Landmaster. They're standard. But now we have the Walker they talked about already. But I believe the Direct was the first time we saw the Gravmaster
Yeah.
and the Gyro Wing.
Well, apparently, I actually, when I rewatched it to write down some notes, the Landmaster can actually turn into the Gravmaster.
Right.
Yeah, it's actually
the same,
a
It's the
mode,
same
yeah.
vehicle. The Landmaster just transforms and it's like it's low flight mode. And when I saw the gameplay, I was like, wow, that looks really cool. Like, it looks fun.
Yeah, and then the Gravmaster apparently is like if you're using the Landmaster and you need to get like some mid-air coverage,
then
you
just
can
boop,
fly around a little bit and shoot higher.
take off.
The Gyro Wing, they said is used
It's basically a
for
helicopter.
yeah, it's got like it's a gyro. It's got the two
Right.
propellers on the sides, and they said it's for stealth purposes. I've never been familiar with stealth purposes in Star Fox, but
we're gonna find out then.
and then apparently that gyro wing is what uses the little robot called Direct Eye, which is you deploy the little robot and then it can like go
Just
through
walks
little
around,
it can like
little
go through
tunnels
little
and
tight
stuff.
spaces and things. So Interesting. I mean, they've definitely tried to vary the gameplay while keeping the core mechanics there.
And Star Fox, you know, has just been that forward-moving, basically dogfighting kind of a thing, and to me that's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Star Fox, that's pretty unique to Star Fox. We have side-scrolling shooters, we have regular shooters where if you're just a person running around, but vehicle shooters aren't done all the time. Sometimes they're really trashy. Star Fox is pretty promising and something I've been a fan of for a long time. It looks really nice. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm bummed out for Nintendo's sake that they've delayed it past Christmas, but I think if you want it, you should still go for it because I think it's going to be a solid title. I trust Nintendo with Star Fox.
They pushed it back quite a bit, so I assume they've got a lot of tinkering to do because it was obviously if they planned to release it at the end of the year. And now they said the official release date. They actually gave a date. It's April 22nd, which is quite a long time away, considering it was going to come out.
4 months.
Yeah, if they were going to release it next month, you know, considering they wanted another 4 months of work
extra 4
on
months, but
that's good.
I trust Nintendo that they will end up with a really clean-looking Star Fox, really good-looking Star Fox.
And since
that's what I want. It takes them so long to make Star Fox games anyway. Yeah. And then we had a couple of flops that we maybe won't mention, such as the one for DS, and I don't even remember its name, but I know it was terrible, and they shut down.
Was that Assault?
No, that wasn't Assault. Assault was on GameCube, but there was one on DS that they shut down its online server. It was the first Nintendo DS game to have the server for it shut down. And it was Star Fox.
Pre-main shutdown when they actually shut down everything together.
It was way before that.
Yeah.
It was way before that. So that was a bummer. We won't talk about those Star Fox games, but main core Star Fox games are really cool, and I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah. And 3DS, they kind of jump back and forth. So 3DS got Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. I'm excited about this game because I've played the Paper Mario games. I have dabbled in the first Mario and Luigi game. These games are great for their humor. They're very fun RPG games, and I think most of the details that they initially announced are what we've already heard when they originally. I think they announced Paper Jam at E3. It mostly was the same thing. The big thing was that they announced Amiibo support. Obviously, they want to kind of detail. You know, Amiibos their big thing this year. So, Amiibos. Well, they announced the battle card system. So you get these cards that influence battle, which you can do to like. Increase your coin count when you win a fight. You can power yourself up. You can decrease the level of your enemies when you're fighting, which is kind of interesting. And then the amiibos that are supported are all the Mario amiibos. Mm-hmm. Those create character cards, which are apparently they have the same effects, but they're much more powerful. And a lot of them were based off of past Mario games, which is kind of cool, like a collectible aspect. I saw like New Super Mario Bros. 2. I think Super Mario 3D Land, maybe Super Mario World. So there were different eras of Mario that they based the character cards off of. So a collectible aspect. I'm sure if you guys have played Mario and Luigi, there's been tons of those games. There's been a ton of Paper Mario games. I'm sure you guys are excited. I've played them. Linkold has not, but I've suggested.
I have a couple of them.
I've suggested he start at least playing one of them. I would say start Paper Mario.
They look like fun, and to me, they really harken back to Super Mario RPG.
Yes,
I played a chunk of that. I didn't finish that one either.
But they released. They announced the announced date for January 22nd, so not too long till that comes out.
I'm sure it'll be a solid title. Nintendo doesn't usually putz around with anything with Mario's name on it.
Yeah. I think the only big Mario flop we've had in a while was. Well, it wasn't a flop, but people had their issues with Sticker Star from Paper Mario. I haven't played it all yet, but...
I own that title, but I have not played through the whole thing.
Yeah. Then, another 3DS title that they announced was Final Fantasy. Yeah, Explorers.
Final Fantasy Explorers, which sounds... I don't know.
They said
I have high hopes for it.
They said that this was the first action RPG that they have had of Final Fantasy on the system. I don't know what that means. I'm not a huge Final Fantasy guy. Like, not that I don't like it. I
think Final Fantasy is really cool. I haven't played through all the games. I've played lots of some of the games.
Yeah, I've dabbled in 7 and 10. I didn't beat them, but I did play them. I did enjoy it. It was just a long time ago, and I reached a point where I was like, this is too hard, so I just stopped playing. And I was borrowing the games anyway, so I gave them back. But it looks like a very interesting game. I mean, just from gameplay, if you even took out all the Final Fantasy aspects, it's basically 4-player action RPG elements. So you have like a team of 4.
Which sounds like a blast to me. There have been other games that launched like that on 3DS that not flopped entirely, but it's like they didn't have. There was something missing every time for one of those games to really,
Like
make a solid stake or make a solid claim on the console or in the field. I don't even remember the names of some of them now, but there were trials of action RPG games that I played on 3DS that looked awesome, and I never bought them because I wasn't quite sure enough. The gameplay was really cool, or it looked really cool. The ideas were cool. I didn't know how much content there was going to be. It was sort of something made up out of nowhere. It had no reputation to it, which can be good or bad. But and then really, not many people knew about them.
Yeah.
I had to tell people about them, and they said, "Oh, okay, well, I don't really know what it is, whatever," and it's kind of dismissed. But a Final Fantasy title coming brings higher hopes for survival of that genre on the console. It looks cool. I'm going to be happy to try it at least, and if it gets good reviews, and if I know that people are picking it up, I'm going to get it too, because I want to get on the fun.
Yeah, I think that it was interesting enough to where I might try picking it up. They kind of went over some of the gameplay elements. They have a job system that apparently you can switch on the fly. They said 20 professions where you can be different types of things, which obviously give you different perks in the battle, I'm sure.
And Final Fantasy's always had that, but it's good to know that they're keeping key components like that.
Yeah,
obviously. It makes gameplay more exciting, more interesting, and strategy more interesting. And if you're playing an RPG, it's a big reason of why you're playing it. It is that kind of a thing. And on top of that, they sweeten the deal up because this title has already been out in Japan for a while.
Yeah.
But they're finally bringing it to the U.S. And we get all of Japan's paid DLC for free.
Yeah, so sometimes it pays to wait. Yes, that's great.
That sounds so cool. Like, oh my gosh.
And they're giving
all free DLC for a Final Fantasy game? Like, it already looks fun enough.
Yeah.
But just, here, take all the goodies with it. Okay.
And they're going to give it a collector's edition, which is nice. And it actually comes with quite a bit. You get an art book, a hard case for your 3DS, a music sampler, and some exclusive quests for legendary weapons, they said. And it looks like the weapons are based off of other Final Fantasy, like, iconic weapons that are, probably well known to Final Fantasy fans. The thing that interested me about this, that I would not mind playing it. I mean, it sounds like there's lots of quests. They said over 100 quests. The multiplayer is 4-player, local, and online. But the cool thing is that if you were playing online and don't have enough people, you can actually use monsters to fill your party slot, right, which is cool.
Yes. That reminds me of a different Square. I think it was when Square Enix was Squaresoft and made Legend of Mana.
Did you use monsters in that? I played Legend of Mana.
You could train monsters and have monsters fight with you. That game is, I guess, not super well known. I've met a good number of people.
I think it's a cult classic. Like the people.
It was, and I never. That's another game that I never finished because it was insanely long, and there were a couple of glitches or things. And then the time that we actually went and bought the disc was old and used, and we got to a couple points where the disc would just keep us from progressing in the game. Oh. All in all, that soundtrack is legendary. That game is just awesome. For a PS1
the
game,
Mana series is great in general.
It's very cool. Really enjoyed it. But this reminds me of that too. Just because it's Final Fantasy, it's made by Square Enix, so they have similar inspiration, of course.
And we don't have to wait long for that, January 26th, 2016. So
not by Christmas, but
save up your Christmas dollars.
Yeah, you can use all your Christmas bucks.
Yeah, your Santa bucks.
Take those into the store and get Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that's probably all I'm going to have for Christmas is socks and Santa bucks.
Socks and Santa bucks, man. And then if you get it, let us know. Because if people are buying Final Fantasy, I'm going to want to get in on the action. I will play Final Fantasy with you.
Keep our eyes peeled on the reception of those games.
So another RPG coming out, Fire Emblem Fates, which is neat because they have sort of 3 versions of it. Or 2 versions. What was it? Is it 3 different carts, or is it 2 and the other one is extra content?
2 carts, one's extra.
They're based on the same story but different storylines. So it's much like buying a Pokemon game like X or Y. You play one side of it or the other side, and it changes a little bit depending on the version that you get. I assume that Fire Emblem's storylines will look even more different than you would expect differences in a Pokemon game. But it is still all part of the same story.
I think essentially
very immersive.
I think essentially what makes it maybe worthwhile if you're a really big fan of Fire Emblem to buy it is because the two versions are Birthright and Conquest, and you get to basically play out the entire story from each side. Like one's, I guess, I don't know if there's a good and a bad guy, but basically from what I can gather, Birthright is the good guys' side. You're playing as the good guys. Conquest,
it sounds like it.
Yeah, Conquest you play as the bad guys, and you get to see, obviously the reasoning why each side is doing what they do, and apparently you learn some things about the influences and the reasons why these people are doing what they do, the story and why it's taking place. Now they're really wanting to sell this one because buy one at retail and you can download the other version you didn't buy for $20 on the eShop,
which is half price.
Yeah, so they're giving you incentive to play both of them. And then the third story is called Revelation. They said that is an in-game download, so you can download it within one of the games, I guess. So that's basically like additional content that...
So after you get through the first two, I guess that's just even more stuff
like behind, like maybe behind-the-scenes secrets. Not like making the game, but obviously this is like maybe loose ends that aren't maybe talked about in the two that you play. Maybe this is like, oh, this is what happened to her or him, or oh, this is why these two were doing this. Obviously it's some closer insight into what's going on in the story. And then if you want all of them, I assume that they didn't tell Revelation, or they didn't give Revelation a price, but I assume it is a priced download because they announced a special edition that gives you both physical...
Basically everything.
Yeah, it gives you both Birthright and Conquest. I guess I would assume a download code for Revelation. It just said Birthright, Conquest, Revelation. You get an art book and a 3DS pouch, which is a soft pouch, not hard case like the Final Fantasy.
And the whole thing was $80, right?
Yeah, so you basically get both.
If you really like Fire Emblem, get the whole thing. If you kind of like Fire Emblem, just buy one and play through it. I'm sure it's still good. Fire Emblem's a good strategy game.
Yeah.
If you like Advance Wars, or if you played another Fire Emblem game, it's a solid installment.
I still have to play mine. I haven't played My Awakening yet. I have it.
Yeah.
I bought it because they tried to push that game really hard too. They wanted you to buy that in Shin Megami Tensei 4, so you would get that $30 credit, which I did. The what'd you say?
Gesundheit.
Oh, yeah, announcing all that. The I think that Awakening also had DLC. They announced that there was a DLC map pack coming out. You can get one map free, that the first one that comes out, and then the 6 others are paid. You can buy them in a pack. Apparently, you can buy them now. You can pre-order the pack. But that comes out February 19th. It looks interesting. I've never got into Fire Emblem. That might change once I play My Awakening, but I don't have enough invested in this series to like go out and buy the collectors. But
I had a Game Boy Advance copy of Sacred Sword,
Sacred Dawn,
something.
Sacred.
I'm so stupid. I don't even know the name of it, but it was I'm a 3DS ambassador because I bought the original 3DS
yes,
at
he was
release
crazy
day.
Enough to go buy that.
I did it.
250.
That little old 3DS, but I got it. And I'm an ambassador in one of the games, one of the free Game Boy Advance games. One of the free games they gave away for the ambassador program was a Fire Emblem title on Game Boy Advance. And I have really, really enjoyed it. It's just a Game Boy Advance game. Now, Game Boy Advance was a crazy console, and it was insanely successful. But that Fire Emblem game is the first Fire Emblem game that I've played, and I love it.
I've heard nothing but great things about Awakening. So
it's a lot like Advance Wars, and I've played several Advance Wars games all the way through. They're strategy games like that.
Okay.
Almost like a chessboard where you have to count out each person's moves and that kind of thing. You got different weapons, and it works. It works significantly differently than Advance Wars, but it feels a little bit like it, and the way they take you through the story is a bit similar.
Okay. But
very enjoyable.
Yeah.
So then we had 2 big announcements for 3DS after this. 2 more big announcements, I should say. And to me, they're both retro things, right? They're both what I call a retro recycle. And Nintendo is notorious or famous for doing this. Yeah. Take it as you will. But we have the Mega Man Legacy on 3DS, so it's a bunch of Mega Man games, and then they finally released Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow on 3DS eShop, which is a big deal.
That's right.
Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Play this bad boy, you know that game.
Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow obviously were such a huge force. They changed everything in gaming. They changed everything for Nintendo. They changed everything for anybody who was alive during the 90s.
Yeah, you probably
and
owned
then
a Pokemon card. You watched the show.
Right. And Pokemon obviously still going quite strong, still coming out with new titles. They still have world championships both in cards and in video games.
And they keep getting bigger. Those championships are actually very, very popular now.
Right. So here's Pokemon, but they sort of recycled 2 more series again. They have Pokemon and Mega Man, and people are still going to buy into that a lot.
Yeah. Well, Mega Man, thankfully, this collection, there is a little bit of incentive. You get... well, no, Mega Man Legacy Collection is actually not exclusive to 3DS. It is something that's out on 3DS, PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
But... if you get it for your 3DS,
yeah, if you get it for 3DS, you
can get that golden Mega Man amiibo swag.
Yes.
Okay.
You want that gold? If you want that gold loot, you buy the collector's edition.
Yep.
They said that the amiibo in the 3DS version unlocks special challenges. So the new things they brought,
as if Mega Man isn't already challenging enough.
Yes. Yeah. They wanted to make
Mega
it
Man's
even
a tough
harder.
game. In case you didn't know. So if
they'll-
you've never played Mega Man, go play Mega Man and come back when you've died about 8,000 times.
Well, this is a good
about
rate.
5 minutes.
If you haven't played it, this is a good chance to start. So yeah, 1 through 6 is what's included on these. 3DS version gets exclusive museum items, which I don't know what I know what the museum items are. Basically, like they show you like concept art, box art. Like they actually like have scans of the physical boxes from like Japan. Like a lot of cool stuff for people who are really into Mega Man.
It's collector stuff.
Apparently, there's exclusive stuff that's only on the 3DS version. I don't know what. And then the exclusive challenges are unlocked with that amiibo. You can buy the gold one if you want with the collectors, or if you have the Mega Man because you already like Mega Man from Smash Brothers. You use that, you get the challenges that apparently are only on 3DS. So there's some stuff you couldn't get from just playing vanilla Mega Man 1 through 6.
Yeah.
But you essentially those aside, you're playing the same
it's important.
things. So if you have not ever played Mega Man, then please buy it. Mega Man
Go crazy.
needs more love because he's not getting any new games, obviously, and it's a great series.
And Mega Man, if you think you're good at video games, challenge yourself with Mega Man.
Yes.
Mega Man's hard stuff. It was like, to me, Mega Man was one of the original like hardcore gamers. Like, I beat all of Mega Man. You beat Mega Man 1 and 2. I forget which one. One of those, between 1 and 3 is the hardest Mega Man ever, and I don't remember which title it is, but oh my gosh, it is obscene.
I don't know if
so challenging.
I know 2's really popular. I don't know if it was the hardest though.
Yeah. And I'm sure people have different feelings on that too. But Mega Man is a tough series, so it's a lot of fun. It's a cool platformer. Run around and shoot things in the face.
Now the big
What's
thing
not to
with Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, I mean, obviously people have wanted this for a while on eShop, but the big thing is that if you have it locally, you can actually do the trading and battling locally. You don't have to have the link cable, the infamous link cable.
Which doesn't even fit in your DS, so it's good that they fixed that.
Yeah. Now I hope people. I almost mistook the information for having online capabilities, but it does not. No online. It just means if me and him are sitting next to each other and have the games, we can wirelessly play.
Yep.
Obviously, like it would
still
be from 1996, you would be able to connect your cable and play with each other or trade. So that's what that's
still
for.
really cool, and I'm sure that's going to sell on eShop like wildfire.
Yeah,
because it's original Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves original Pokemon. Even the people who despise Pokemon today
Probably
will
will
be
play
happy to play original Pokemon.
And at least they're taking the initiative to give us the ability to use it as intended. You know, they didn't have to.
Nintendo. Just port your old games because you know everybody's going to keep buying them.
Yeah.
And buy them we do.
That comes out next year. I don't have a date. I believe they may have said something, but I didn't have it written down. I think it's
but it'll be out next
like
year.
early next year.
It'll be out next year, and then everybody can just
get out your Game Boy and play it and practice till then.
Yeah, there you go. Get ready to beat the Elite Four.
So a lot of other 3DS stuff. Hyrule Warriors Legends, which if you haven't played that already, released originally on the Wii U.
Or Hyrule Warriors, right?
Hyrule Warriors Legends
now
is the
on
new
3DS,
port.
right?
Yeah.
On 3DS they've tacked on Legends, but it's basically still Hyrule Warriors. But it comes with all DLC, right?
I don't know.
I believe it comes with all, if not most, of the DLC that was offered for the original version.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, we have Wind Waker people now, and for all you Wind Waker fans out there,
yeah, Wind Waker and Skull Kid.
And Skull Kid
from Majora's Mask.
And
that was one of the ones I was excited for.
And when you were expecting new characters for Smash Brothers, you got one for Hyrule Warriors. Now we have female Link.
What if?
Which all the jokes
Zelda
would
was
tell
a
you.
boy?
Right, what if Zelda's a boy? Well, Zelda's a boy, but now boy Zelda has become female again. So we have Linkle.
Linkle was
Linkle.
announced. Apparently, Linkle was some type of concept of what if Link was a girl, and they decided to make it a character and put it in the game.
It's pretty cool. Now all these people right after the direct, they're all hyped up about Smash Brothers things. We'll get to shortly, but some people are saying, "Hey, why don't they just throw Linkle in? That would be kind of cool." But we haven't really seen that much of her yet.
Her attacks, they showed a
looks
little
like
bit
a
of her
neat
playing. Yeah, she does a lot of.
neat.
She has crossbow guns.
I saw.
So she almost looks like she's out of like an anime or something.
She looks
Like
like
she's
she's-
got that stance where she like kicks a lot and uses
She looks
guns.
like she's out of Diablo or Warcraft or something. I've been
Yeah.
playing Heroes of the Storm,
Oh, have you?
and one of the heroes in rotation right now is a double crossbow. I was like, oh, okay.
Or she's like that girl from Tracer from Overwatch. She's the same type of
Oh.
thing.
Yeah, that game is so cool. We're gonna talk about that shortly too.
Now,
So Hyrule Warriors coming out early next year, March
25th.
March 25th.
Yep.
Um,
So you've got a little bit to wait.
I don't have a Wii U, so I'm gonna be getting that on 3DS, and it's gonna be a blast.
That was the thing that
I'm excited.
I'm not sure if I'll pick it up again because I
you already played through the whole first one. You
Yeah,
don't really
well,
have a
there's
good
actually
reason. I have a better reason because I did own the first title.
that's the argument I would say is if you've already played it, I don't
Maybe
know
not.
if the extra characters are worth buying it again because
If I were you, I
Yeah.
would not be getting it again.
there's
But I don't have a Wii U. And
there's a
I'm
lot
really
of
excited
content that I haven't even touched on my Wii U version. Like it's packed full of like you could play that game for hundreds of hours.
now. Oh yeah.
And I bought the season pass, so there's plenty of stuff to play. But unless you really liked it or you want it to be portable, for someone who's already got it, I don't know if I could recommend it unless it's cheap. But yeah, for someone who's never played it and you don't have a Wii
Go
U,
for it.
like Mr. Linkle here, do it. Yeah,
Looks
do
so
buy
cool.
it.
I'm excited.
Now I don't know much about Dragon Quest.
But-
it's a series
but
I've always wanted to.
It's a big
explore.
title.
It is very
Dragon
big.
Quest is big. It's important, and now it's coming to 3DS.
Yeah, 7 and 8 were announced. These are apparently remakes of original Dragon Quest games that they're bringing to 3DS as a remake. 7's coming in 16, summer 16. 8 was kind of like at the end, like thrown in, like, and we're also bringing 8 to 3DS, but
but
that's
we're getting
just
it.
16. So cool that Dragon Quest fans are going to get those games. I would love to get to those games eventually. But
Might
I
be
never
worth
have.
it, right. Might be worth to just try them out because I've known about Dragon Quest forever.
Exactly.
I
That's how
don't
I've been.
think I've ever played one. If I have, it was a while ago, and I probably didn't get to play that much. So
The cool thing about
it's
those
good
games
that
is the
it's
art
good
style.
that it's there. The cool thing, is that the art style and it looks like Dragon Ball Z and
Well, it's the same artist. That's why it's
right
a big renowned
between
thing,
Dragon Quest and Dragon Ball Z and Chrono Trigger was the same artist as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are other games that he's worked on too. That guy's cool.
But yeah, if you guys like Dragon Quest, also in the comments, if you have played a Dragon Quest game, where's a good place to start? Or what's like a really good
Do we need to start at
game?
1, or can you just kind of jump in at any
Yeah,
time?
like if I wanted to get into that game, what would you recommend to us?
We're lazy and we don't want to do the research.
Yeah, we trust
please do
we
it
trust
for
your
us.
instinct. We're just here to make you guys laugh. So we don't have any good opinions.
No, garbage.
And then
Speaking of garbage,
Yeah,
there's some Link clone was announced for. You know what? I know he's not a Link clone. I think he's an Ike clone.
Ike, Link,
He's
they're all
Ike
the same.
clone.
Yeah,
He's just another swordsman clone for Super Smash Brothers.
I don't even think we should report on this.
I mean, he'll be out later. We don't really know.
Some guy. He was wearing all this black clothing too. Like,
Yeah,
dude.
he had some pretty wicked blonde
Get a
hair,
life.
but like, come on, Link has blonde hair. Ike's hair is spiky. So is Roy's. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So
So unoriginal.
sorry, Smash Bros. Fans. Nothing exciting happened for you guys. I wish I could say that there was, but maybe next time.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Except that I almost just crapped all over myself while I was watching this.
So I'm sure you guys, if you guys even have
The day
touched
that
Smash Brothers.
the day that Nintendo nuked the internet, or I should say Sakurai nuked the internet as he likes to do, but nothing.
Daddy Sakurai.
Daddy Sakurai has never done anything in this magnitude. Like Ryu was crazy.
Yep.
Cloud
Cloud was probably the farthest thing that anyone would
That
imagine.
is like Ryu was big, but Ryu was like a magnitude 1 earthquake. When Cloud was like a 9, okay? The only thing that will top Cloud is if Goku shows up in Smash Bros. I'll probably just drive my car off a cliff while I'm playing Smash Bros.
Yep. You pretty much have peaked at that point, and there's nothing better at that.
If we get something past the level of Cloud in Smash Brothers, like the world's gonna implode.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that a lot of people had a hard time holding on to reality when they announced
Oh
that.
my! I was shaking. I was like,
So
it was a shock.
the craziest thing about Cloud, of every Final Fantasy
Whew.
character being in this game, is that Cloud
This is nuts.
is a Sony character mostly, because 7's basically only been on PlayStation games.
Yeah, but he's huge.
And he's a huge character. I mean, obviously he is like the
He
character for Final Fantasy.
Yeah, he's like the character for Final Fantasy, and
For him to be in Smash Brothers is probably
There
the
he
thing
is.
that no one. That was basically the joke. Like the joke
So
roster
out of
is
left
like Goku, Cloud, peanut butter jelly banana, things like that. Like no one would
Cloud
ever.
was always a
expect it.
joke.
Yeah.
Always one of the jokes, and then he's there, and now everybody online is saying, "Oh my god, anything is possible. We can get anybody now as long as they're voted in."
Honestly, I think.
And we have Smash news coming in December. We don't know what. We don't know if it's gonna say, these characters are ready. We don't know if they're gonna announce all Smash Ballot news, but they made it sound like this announcement that we're gonna get in December is gonna be everything that's left.
Yeah.
The way they worded it, I don't remember what it was verbatim, but they basically said, in December we'll discuss the future of Smash Bros.
Yeah.
We'll discuss the future.
Newsflash.
And it made it sound like we're gonna find out things in December, and that's gonna be more or less it.
Yep.
And now that means nothing. Nobody can trust Daddy Sakurai anymore because he lies to us and drops bombs like this. So we can.
He plays with our emotions all the time,
Yeah.
and he knows that he has this power over us.
So we'll see what we get in December. But Cloud in and of himself. Okay, they like every Smash Bros. Character, they try to pull as much as possible from the actual series.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his costume from Final Fantasy VII. He has his costume from Advent Children. If you've seen the Final Fantasy movie, if you haven't, it's really freaking cool. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Buy it.
Visually very pretty.
Whatever.
Very pretty.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous movie, and it's just really cool action. It's cool to see Cloud and all the other Final Fantasy people in
If
there.
I remember correctly, though, the story was very. The story was like you had to like stretch. You had to kind of be like, okay, I guess I'll let it slide. Like it was
Right.
really weird,
but you
it's
know
fun
what?
to watch.
It was entertainment value of that movie was
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a
Fantastic.
game
Very
that
high.
has fan service, action,
Very,
looks
very high.
great, watch it. If you're looking for like a story that makes sense, just
if
turn
you're
that
looking
off
for
in
like
your
some
mind.
intricate like Sherlock level story. Don't.
Yeah.
That's not it, and that's not really what it's about. It's about enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
It looks so good. When did that come out? It was
A while. I think I was still in high school when that.
it was
came out.
early
It was-
2000s, right?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Cool
And
stuff.
If they have it on Blu-ray, I don't know.
You haven't
if they
seen
have it on Blu-ray.
You haven't
do it.
seen Final Fantasy Advent Children. Go
Yeah.
watch it right now,
Definitely do.
and
it.
then come back and watch the rest of this.
Yes,
We're not done yet.
we're not done.
Okay.
The
We got Chocobo hats for me characters.
yeah. I
lot
think
of
it
people
smells
don't-
like Chocobo.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really care about Mii Fighters. I get that sentiment anyway, but I love the Mii Fighters. I think they're really cool.
I think
I
Mii Fighters
enjoy
would
it.
be more accepted if they let them play online.
I wish they were available online.
Because
I
then
wish they were
you'd have
available
even
in
more
For Glory.
incentive to buy them. You'd have to buy all the costumes.
Right.
You wanted to play them online, but
I still get them because I thoroughly enjoy that, and I play Smash Run all the time, stuff like that.
I mean, maybe
and I
maybe
play
at some
locally
point they'll
when I
let their
can.
grasp go and they'll let you. But
Let's hope.
yeah, as far as Cloud, I mean, Cloud is
Hype.
like a 1-for-1
Hype, kids.
from his game. I have not played all of 7, but I have played enough to know that the limit break is his final smash. They put like the
Was
exact
that his final smash, or some people were speculating that would be his down special, sort of charge up, charge up, charge up, charge up, and if you get there, you get temporary.
I thought when he did the limit break, he
No,
like,
he did have a
launched him
different-
into the air. Or
No,
something.
that was a different one.
Was it a different
Because
one?
there was a limit break, and then his specials were
Maybe it was
powered
his
up,
summon
things like
or
that.
something.
And then his final smash was unfortunately very kin to Ike's.
Yeah, but he
Launch
like
him up in the air and cut you up.
Yeah.
But the limit break had effects outside of that as well.
Did it?
Powered up some of his moves. It powered up his recovery. They showed two Clouds using a recovery move, and one of them was closer to the stage and used recovery and didn't make it. The other one was even further and recovered and made it.
So kind of
They were
like
different
a
colors,
Shulk
too.
thing?
A little bit, right? Like Shulk, like shifting into jump or speed or something. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it works. We don't obviously have the details on what each of his moves are yet. They're all going to be inspired from Final Fantasy, of course, and it looks really, really great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they're going to do a great job making everyone, love the authentic feel of, the game that they remember.
If they don't serve him, everybody's going to want to,
Yeah, and they give him a level, too.
Will.
We didn't mention that. He does get his own level. So there is a Final Fantasy VII. I don't know what it's based off of. I'm sorry. I haven't beaten the game.
Sorry.
But it looks really cool. There's these creatures that come, and then
those are the summons.
Those are the summons.
Those are the summons, and those are really cool. They cut the stage in half. That was my favorite.
It moves around too. There was parts where the stage got in. I think water was moving it or something.
Yeah,
it was
and
neat.
it's a really nice looking stage. Very intricate detail. They have all the parts of the stage in the background. Everything looks real nice.
And the stage looks pretty simple other than that, so it's going to be nice to fight on. Yeah, it's like a battlefield, but it has some environmental things going on, so...
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great. I think that they said 20... Did they even give it a date for
No,
Cloud?
they did not give Cloud a date, and I'm hoping to get that in December.
I would assume
I'm hoping he
lay it all
launches
on us.
near Christmas, at least him, because I know it's a lot of work for the Smash Bros. Team to make all these fighters, and Smash Battle just concluded in October. They could have started on somebody beforehand if they had somebody significantly in the lead. But we'll just have to see how it goes.
My assumption with Cloud
December.
would be that they
Almost done.
I think that the fact that they had this ready to go out of the blue and no hint of it coming, I almost think that it was something.
Kudos for no leaks this time.
Yeah, I think it may have been something outside of the ballot. To be honest,
that's what I thought. I thought the Cloud had nothing to do with the ballot. I thought they had decided on Cloud. He knows. I mean, he's not stupid. He knows that you put a big character in like that, it's gonna sell. It's gonna go over well. I honestly think that Cloud was decided before the Smash ballot concluded, because that concluded in mid-October.
Yeah.
And he is very far along. So they could have started him beforehand. Yes, it's true. I don't think he came from Smash Ballot, because in all the mock polls that I've seen for Smash Ballot, Cloud hasn't really been in there. Surprisingly, we've had people like Shantae, like Shovel Knight, Isaac from Golden Sun has been a very popular one. King K. Rool, I don't think it's going to happen because he's a Mii outfit, but he's very popular. And other fighters that are already in the game, like Captain Falcon, has a Mii outfit.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Doesn't all the Zelda characters have Mii outfits too?
Not Ganondorf. Sheik has a hat.
Like Link
Zelda has a hat.
right?
Link has a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's possible. I think it's less likely, but he is very popular, and there's only so much spectating we can do on Smash Ballot. We'll see what finds out. So Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo
dropped some bombs. Of course,
drained us of all energy.
Of course, save Smash Bros for last. Oh my gosh, just watching that, it was like total disbelief. That was amazing. It always is, though.
Yeah, I feel like they're just like tip of the iceberg. Whatever they've got in December.
Yeah.
They probably. Well, I mean, obviously we have to know what the Smash ballot. I mean, if anything, they're gonna at least tell us this is the one. Like, this is the vote that got the most votes that we're willing to do. Like, obviously, even if it's not like ready, I would assume in December they're gonna tell you like, this is what we're willing to do.
I'm hoping we get a release date for Cloud. I'm hoping.
Will Cloud get an amiibo?
I think so.
That's actually very crazy.
They're giving Lucas and Ryu amiibos. I think he will.
That's crazy though.
And I hope they announce Smash Ballot results. At least one of them in December.
Yeah.
So
maybe they'll even have they'll have a mold of the amiibo by December. I don't know, because
that would be cool.
I mean, I feel like that's another series that, even though it's really loved, I mean, how often can you buy Final Fantasy VII merchandise? I mean,
stuff like that. Yeah. And we're so far after the fact now.
And that could lead into, who knows, other things. Maybe other Final Fantasy games will support the Cloud amiibo.
Maybe the new Final Fantasy game on 3DS could support amiibo. Like,
maybe.
Who knows?
I mean, it's coming out.
It's all up in the air.
Coming out next year, so it
Cloud's
could be done.
new, stuff's new. We'll find out. So yeah, Nintendo. WoW had a lot of news for us this week, but of course we know to expect that in a Direct, especially since Direct has been sort of backburnered.
Yeah,
with the passing of Iwata. So
my wallet hasn't come out of hiding since the Direct was over, so I don't know what to expect.
Once I find it, though, it's getting torn apart.
Yeah, I'm gonna go crazy on it like Goofy does at a Steam sale. It's Steam time.
Yeah. Only they didn't. You're buying everything at full price, but you're gonna do it anyway because it's all this stuff that it is. Other news: BlizzCon for those of you who are interested or play any Blizzard games. BlizzCon was November 6th and 7th. So that was, about 10 days ago now? Almost 10 days ago.
Yep.
Just under 2 weeks. And they, of course, BlizzCon is on all things Blizzard related, and Blizzard, which is now owned by Activision, which hasn't ruined them yet. I'm scared of Activision. I'm scared.
But maybe Blizzard's the superior in that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, I think they're more or less wanted to acquire Blizzard for their profits. And I think they're still letting Blizzard do what Blizzard does best.
Yeah.
And Blizzard is known for, ever since the inception, for creating very, very, very immersive games. Very immersive gaming experience with storyline, with things like Diablo, adventuring, going through dungeons, finding all kinds of loot. That was Diablo, and then with Warcraft and Starcraft, you had
strategy.
You had the real-time strategy games. And even with those, there was immense storyline involved. There's always big storyline. And the last StarCraft 2 installment, Legacy of the Void, just released last Tuesday. So it'll be about a week ago.
You've played it, right?
I don't have Legacy of the Void yet.
No.
They have a they have a prologue you can play, and then you have to buy the actual game to go through the rest of the campaign. But what I've played so far has been really cool, and I really enjoy StarCraft. They're finally wrapping up the storyline of the StarCraft 2 trilogy. And since I haven't finished it yet, I don't know if this closes off StarCraft for good or if they leave some open ends for expansion. We'll find out later on.
Yeah, unfortunately,
but that was one of the things that they announced, or one of the things they talked about at BlizzCon.
Yeah, my involvement with Blizzard, I unfortunately have not played a lot of their games. The only thing I've really gave any time to, and I haven't gave a whole lot of time to it, was Hearthstone. I played a little bit of Hearthstone. Yeah, I mean, not that I don't like any of their games, it's just I don't know, I guess whenever the opportunity arose, I did not buy it. I mean, I watched people play Diablo, I had friends that played it. And
it's funny, and I never played Diablo. I never had Diablo. I've seen people playing Diablo, different friends, family playing Diablo. I've never played Diablo, but I got into StarCraft, and I thought it was so interesting, and I bought into it so much, and that's why I'm saying Blizzard's so good about creating an immersive experience. They always have storyline, they always have these very fantasy-driven characters, and that's what they're all about. And World of Warcraft obviously ties that in. World of Warcraft is insanely successful and has been since it was first launched.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft has been around for such a long time, and I'm sure they're going to keep going for a while.
I think that's got a new expansion coming out.
And they have the Warcraft movie, and that's kind of a big deal. So Warcraft itself, then World of Warcraft, then you have Diablo, and all these things are built somewhat similarly. Even StarCraft. StarCraft is just the futuristic version of similar conflicts like that between different races and what have you. So that's what Blizzard does best. They make these immersive stories. And here's where things get interesting. Last year at BlizzCon, Blizzard announced that they're making a first-person shooter called Overwatch. Maybe you've heard about it. I hadn't heard much about it until recently when the news started picking up again. I didn't know about Overwatch at all until a few weeks ago when news started picking up, and I saw some content from a YouTuber that I follow who does some gameplay videos, and he's in on the beta because Overwatch is still in closed beta. Overwatch is a first-person shooter which Blizzard has never done before, but they are doing it in a very Blizzard way. All of the characters in Overwatch have whole stories built behind them, and it's not just that sets Overwatch apart. One of the really interesting things about Overwatch is that it is set in a utopian future. So we have tons and tons of games and TV shows and everything in pop culture right now that is focused around post-apocalyptic, whatever. Yeah. Zombies.
The world's always ending.
Nuclear blasts.
Yep.
Right. Things like that. And that has been so popular as of late. But now Blizzard has taken Overwatch and said, okay, well, let's set it in a utopian future instead.
Yeah.
So society... everything looks really good, and I mean that graphically, but I also mean that from a storyline point of view. If you've seen the things from Overwatch, you're not fighting on desolate, destroyed battlefields. You are in these gorgeous cities, gorgeous towns. Everything looks very clean. It looks like it would be really cool to live there, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And some of these, they just look really nice.
Yep.
Like a really not high society per se, but a very developed society and utopian. And why on earth would you set a shooter there instead of somewhere where the entire environment is about conflict?
Sure.
Like, why do you think that works instead of setting it in post-apocalyptic?
Well, I think that when I read their reasoning behind doing the story this way, it made sense to me, and I think it makes sense to them that they can explore new ground and new territory that really is not done very often, because so many people, you've got your Fallout 4s, you've got your zombie games, like you said, and
Evil.
Not that those games are bad, not that you can't craft a good story and a good game based off of a post-apocalyptic future. But why not turn it around? Why not make it different? Why not have it to where things aren't that bad?
Because those kind of games are so common. Anything having to do with zombies is so common right now.
And they made a good point that it actually makes it a little bit harder to make a good story and reason for these characters to be fighting and for them to be doing what they do. And they like the challenge of being able to craft a story and make a reason to play this game and make these characters fight for what they fight for. And if you haven't seen this trailer, which is ridiculously gorgeous, looks like Pixar just rolled out a new trailer for a movie. Craziness. I kind of get what they're doing, and it basically is like, instead of saying we're fighting for what we have left, the utopian future is like, we're fighting for what we have. Like, we're going to protect what we've made, what we've done. We're trying to protect the good that humanity has done.
Yeah, it's not some huge vengeance of loss like a lot of the games operate off of. It's we're here to protect everybody and keep things as they are. So obviously you have your people who want to disrupt that, or people who want to take power.
Yep.
But you also have this whole group, and that's part of the story of Overwatch, is there was a group called Overwatch
that basically does that
protect
everyone.
Help keep things in order. And that's part of the story. So all the characters have their own intense backstory. Lots of the characters have backstories that intertwine in one way or another. They belong to certain groups. Every character is given a past profession, even, and hobbies and things like that. So it's very it runs very deep, and it's very immersive like that. They talk about one of the newer characters is all ice based, and she was supposed to study the climate and study global warming.
Ecologist.
I think she was a climatologist.
Climate. Yeah, that sounds like what it was. Yeah.
But they base it off things like that, and then of course all the move sets and everything is based off of that. And here's something that really sets Overwatch apart: is everybody is stuck with the weapons that they have. If you pick that ice character whose name is Mei, if you pick Mei, you have your ice gun, which fires 2 different kinds of bullets, and then you have I think you have an E special, you have a shift special, and you have a Q, which is your ultimate special. And they always do the same thing. You can't upgrade it or shift to the alternate version of her special. No, Mei is Mei and will always be Mei and will play like Mei, and that's it. You can't steal anybody else's weapons. You can't pick up a different weapon if it drops. You can't go down a different skill tree like you can with a MOBA or something. Everybody is as they are, and that sounds very similar to Team Fortress, but I would say that this game is even more strategy, or even more MOBA-esque than Team Fortress, in that it has the specials set up almost even down to the key mapping of how a MOBA plays.
Which is interesting to know that they can take their knowledge of Heroes of the Storm and maybe make those characters based off of what they've learned from making their twist on a MOBA,
Right, and some of them are very similar to that. Some of the specials you see, some of the ideas behind them are very similar. But the closest thing you get to a standard shooter like Call of Duty or even Halo or something, there is one character who has an assault rifle and a little grenade launcher, and his shift special is sprinting.
Yeah.
That's the closest you get.
Yep.
And that's one. That's one character that has that. Everybody else is very, very different. Go to Overwatch's website. Check out the versatility between all the heroes because it is insane. The backstory behind them, the thought put into each one, I think is unprecedented, especially when you come to first-person shooters. I don't think a first-person shooter has ever been done close to this. You could argue that Team Fortress is close, but that is the closest thing you have.
Mm-hmm.
And even that, there's a distinct gap. There are way more heroes, way more different heroes in Overwatch than there are classes in Team Fortress. And like I said, each one of them is very unique, and there are no variants besides appearance, besides skins. There are no variants on the weapons or abilities.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and you have your offensive heroes, you have your tank heroes, you have your defensive heroes, you have your support heroes, and you have to learn, just like in a MOBA, how to play all those with your team. It is very strict that Overwatch is a team-based shooter. It is not, run around and kill each other, team deathmatch all day long.
Sure.
And I honestly, I'm not even sure if they offer team deathmatch. I think as of now they don't. Right now they offer
like strategic,
like moving games. A payload, and then another one that I think is like capturing certain areas, like a zone-based game mode. I don't think right now that they even offer team deathmatch. So it's meant to be a thought-provoking game. It's not meant to be the mindless running around with an assault rifle and just see who can, no-scope who the quickest.
Yeah.
It's not what it's about. It's about playing with your team members, and if you don't, you're going to lose. That's it.
I mean, I would expect that from Blizzard. At least, they have a way about doing the games they do that usually gives whatever genre they're visiting a little bit of a twist, a little bit of their own, flair on it, which usually does a lot for them in the end. It makes their games stand out. It makes the things they do. I mean, obviously, you can't really list many Blizzard games and say they're not huge successes. Warcraft, Diablo.
Basically, everything that they still support.
Hearthstone is huge.
Successful.
I mean, it's they do what they do well, and they know how to kind of set the bar a little higher, or at least change.
I think they're judicious about how they do things like that. They don't just throw games out, and that's good. And that's similar to why Nintendo holds games back instead of just releasing them because people want them out.
Yep.
They want to make it just right. I think Blizzard does the same exact thing. And they've gone so deep into the writing. I think Blizzard has some of the best writers in gaming, hands down. And even if you look at there was an article from Kotaku that focused in heavily on just the storyline and character development of Overwatch because it's so exceptional. Mm-hmm. And part of what Blizzard writers were talking about is the importance of the ideas and stereotypes of society play into how they're creating these characters. A lot of, especially women in games, are portrayed as just your standard, really sexualized hourglass figure kind of thing. Like, they all want to be gorgeous, and I get that because it's a fantasy world. You want everything to be a fantasy. You want to be really cool and really out there. But it does not have to just be that. And with this game, Blizzard has introduced some, if nothing else, some body types that are not traditional. You have, I don't remember the hero's name, but it's a female character who is huge. Like, she is buff.
Yeah.
And she runs
like
around
a soldier
with
type,
this huge, she has like this huge gun. Her attacks, I think her ultimate is like a gravity vortex. And she's very masculine, but it's a female character. And Blizzard said that they're doing that on purpose, they didn't just pull this out just because. They're sensitive to the world outside of games as well. And they're pulling that into their own writing, and maybe that's part of the challenge. Let's see what else we can pull in, but it makes the game more diverse and even more interesting.
Yeah.
Which is, that's not something that a lot of game developers or writers do.
Yeah,
and Blizzard's
definitely
doing it.
I mean, obviously, that kind of topic's always been very talked about as of recent years.
Of course.
Because obviously, there's room to suggest that this is a problem, and it is a problem, and it's something that I think that game developers are taking more seriously now, which is great. And I hope that no one phones it in, whether they're doing it for the right purposes or not.
They're doing it.
Yeah, because
it's good.
I'm glad that they are trying to make diversity in video games. I'm glad that they're trying to bring races and body types and gender and make it completely, equal as far as what works, what they want to tell. I'm just hoping, I don't want people to do it for the wrong reasons. I don't want studios to be like,
look, we did this now. Appreciate us.
Yeah, I don't want.
That's the really...
Obviously, Blizzard's not doing that.
No, and that's the thing about it is that Blizzard said, we could have just made different, different characters just because of society or just because of those sort of issues or motivations, but they're like, at the very heart of it, making these different kinds of characters. It changes the gameplay as well. It's not just about making the character for the sake of making the character that way.
Yeah.
It's making the character that way for the game. Because after
the
all,
only way it should be.
Blizzard's focus is on the game, right? So they're not just doing this to
appease
appeal
people.
or appease other people. It is all about making, standing out and making an exceptional game.
Yeah.
So all the characters that they're writing, the designs for characters, the designs for backstories, whatever it is, they're not just doing it just to say, look, we did it.
Yeah.
No, they're doing it to make their own game better and make their own game stand out, and that's what it's going to do. I think Overwatch, I'm so excited to play Overwatch. I wish I could get the beta. I'm not in the beta.
No,
but
well, I actually, when...
I will be picking up Overwatch when it comes out in spring.
When I watched a bit of the interview for the articles we were reading, they said that over 7 million people applied for the beta. And that's crazy. And they said that the reason they didn't... They're like, what... they were like, well, what percentage of people did you let in? And their answer was what I figured they were going to say, is that obviously it was a small number, but it was because they're trying to test and prepare for a larger number of people. They can't just let 7 billion people play, because obviously you're just going to have a huge problem with people overloading servers and get crashes and all this. So why do that when you can obviously slowly let people start playing more and more, stretch your servers as you need to so you don't cause problems, and then everyone has issues playing. So hopefully open beta will come early next year, because then you can all get
well, it'll be releasing next year, so
well,
hopefully if they're doing an open beta, we get it by maybe February. Would be nice, because they're saying spring, which means they have until summer to release it. So sooner the better. I'm really excited, and I think Blizzard is doing something exceptionally different here, especially for first-person shooters, and for people who are tired of seeing the same first-person shooters or the same kind again and again and again and again and again. You don't need the same character a million times, and you don't need one character who has access to a billion different weapons.
Yeah.
Which is another big defining feature, is you have one character who has that character's things. That character has their things, and that's it.
Yeah. Which it makes
Very
sense.
different.
It makes sense in a gameplay aspect for a lot of reasons,
and from
too.
a strategy and a fantasy aspect. Strategy, you have to pay attention to what the character is very closely and how they interact and support one another. And then the fantasy aspect of just having these deep and really juicy storylines to dig into. That's so interesting. If nothing else, it makes the game more appealing because it's interesting. It's not just, oh, you're a soldier guy, go get shot. Okay, go blow people up. Okay, you are Mei, and you are playing this Chinese climatologist who has all these ice-based attacks. Or you're playing Tracer, and you're playing this woman from England who was part of this big protection organization who can do slip space warping and time travel and stuff like that, and you're the only person who can do that. You're the only one.
Yeah, you get... It's almost... It actually kind of reminds me of a fighting game.
That's why I'm so impressed with Overwatch.
Because, with fighting games, you master the person that you feel comfortable with, or you like their abilities. That's a nice thing.
You like their abilities, you like the way they look.
Yeah.
You like the storyline behind them, you like everything.
Like how they control, you like if they're fast or if they're tanky, that. That's something that's really almost exclusive to fighting games generally, is that, people who play Street Fighter all the time generally have their couple characters that they play as, because they know,
or even
they like
in
the way
Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers, mains and all that. Yeah, they like the way that someone controls, and that's how it's going to be in Overwatch, which is really fun to consider.
Why I'm pumped for it, and I think Blizzard has done something very new with it. And I'm excited for it.
And it is coming out.
I hope you guys want to check it out too.
It's coming out for consoles too, not just PC, which is good.
And maybe we'll include the link for their cinematic trailer. And this trailer did come out a year ago, so it's been around, but if you haven't seen it yet, it's really worth watching. It looks like something straight out of Toy Story or something. The animation style, that is, looks so much like a Disney or a Pixar. It reminded me so much of Big Hero 6, if you've seen that.
I haven't seen it, but I mean, when I first watched it, it looks just like you would see a typical CGI Pixar movie now. It just looks really good, and it's animated very well.
It's impressive, and it's very cool, very entertaining too.
But yeah, I would look forward to that game.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only thing I could say about it is that it was speculated to be free to play, but it's actually going to cost you $40 for PC and $60 for consoles. So, again, there's a lot of time between now and when it releases. So, yeah, we'll probably, I would say, our last story.
All right.
I'm sure we've kept you guys here for very long. And
thank you for sticking around so far.
I'm sure you guys are very hungry. You guys are like, I need to go eat. I'm sitting at my desk at work. And
this is called projection, when Corndog tells you you're hungry.
Yes.
Because he's hungry.
Yeah, it's been so long. I need to eat, and you need to eat. You need to eat really, really badly. No, I hope you guys have enjoyed the first episode of Games and Stuff. We're not done, but I thank you guys for sticking around.
One more thing.
Obviously,
Fallout just launched.
Yeah, you
Fallout
guys
4.
have heard of some game called Fallout 4, I'm sure.
Whatever the hell that is.
I have not played it. Obviously, that seems like a broken record. I'm like, oh, this game, I haven't played it. This game, I haven't played it. But
that's what it's about. You gotta learn about it first.
Yes. We try and do our research. So, Fallout 4, that's basically the biggest game that everyone's been talking about. No one can stop talking about it. And it's fine. I mean, Fallout 4... seems to be doing very well. It seems to be reviewing well.
It just launched as another sequel to a big series from a big developer, and so many people were looking forward to this.
Yeah, Bethesda is the developer for Fallout 4. I mean, I'm sure if you guys even know, you've played probably Fallout before. You probably played the other games.
And it's probably filling up half of your social media accounts anyway.
The main thing is that it was said that they launched 12 million copies shipped. That's a lot of copies shipped. Now, that is not games that they have sold off the shelf, but in anticipation for sales, they shipped out 12 million copies on launch day, which is an astronomical number. I mean, that's more copies than many series have sold in their entire lifespan. Yeah. So, just to give you an idea.
But they just shipped it. I'm sure they sold a good chunk of that. And then you have everybody who downloaded it digitally, who didn't even have to buy a copy. So yeah. I'm sure lots and lots of people are playing Fallout 4 now.
Yeah, they. I think some numbers I remember, like over 400,000 people were like concurrently playing it on Steam.
Yeah, that's right. I did see that.
And it broke records on Twitch for a launch day game. It had the highest amount of views, highest amount of people watching it on launch day, which I think was. I think it was again like a 400,000 viewers.
Something astronomical.
Like out of everyone streaming Fallout 4, 400,000 people were watching a Fallout 4 stream, which is crazy.
That's a lot.
That's it. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
But the main thing that I mean, I have not played it, so obviously I can't say too much. And there's not really been a whole lot of news other than it's been reviewed. It's generally been loved. Everyone says it's great. But just basically for like a last open discussion between. Myself and Lincoln here, and after we talk about this, feel free to maybe comment your feelings in the comment box below.
Please do.
If you're nice about it and don't use the word dicks a lot. But we're going to be talking about the Fallout 4 glitches. Everyone. It's even funny before it even came out. Everyone was like, wonder what crazy Fallout 4 glitches we're going to get on launch day.
And what happens when you launch a game that's that big, that especially in game is very, very big.
Yeah.
And so many possibilities, so open ended. You're bound to have some stuff, and there's a lot of pressure, surely, by the fans, for games to come out in a timely fashion. And this is the opposite problem with Nintendo, where they delay and delay and delay and delay, and they say, okay, now it's ready.
Yeah.
And most of the time, those come out without a lot of glitches.
Yeah.
So do we look down on Bethesda because of this? Is it an understandable?
My view on this might not actually be like projected towards Bethesda specifically.
Right. But was it irresponsible? Let's just say that. Was it irresponsible to launch a game without getting even more intensive into the debugging and trying to make it just right?
I think, honestly, I think that there was probably a point before they shipped it because this. I mean, this game, I would have to say, I think most people even agree, this was the most hyped game this year. I mean, obviously there was pressure from Bethesda and their publisher to get this game out the door because it has to be done. You know, like that happens. That happens when publishers, like this game has to be out because we are obviously projecting shipping 12 million copies.
Yeah.
Was it probably at a point where they're like, this is probably good enough? Yeah. They probably knew that they could have debugged more. Mm-hmm. And they probably could have smashed a lot of bugs that we're seeing.
Of course, they are still debugging, and they'll release patches as they go, like anybody would.
Yeah. In the discussion that I had was, we, especially people that have been riding this hype train as long as it's been announced that Fallout 4 is coming, there are so many people that, well, one, we accept games that are broken. There's so many early access games on Steam that we buy, we play
because they're early access.
Yeah, but it's become so comfortable that people like will not launch games without early access. Like we want you to basically pay to beta test our games, and like are we lowering our standards because of that? Are we basically accepting that games can be
Do we just
unfinished?
Want it now? Do we just want it now? Give me the game now. I don't care
Yeah.
if it's screwed up and I'm gonna fall through the floor and
yeah,
Zombie's torso is gonna like do these twisty things.
I mean, I'm sure you could go on the internet right now and search for
Fallout
tons
4
of different Fallout 4
glitch.
Glitches.
And probably laugh your butt off.
Yeah, and obviously the comedic value is there.
Some of them
Glitches
really
are funny. But, why do we give Bethesda it's okay. It's okay for you. You can launch this game with bugs and we'll just laugh it off and it'll be completely fine. Because I've seen people with game crashes, I've seen people with just bugs where the computer, the AI is just completely bugged out. They're just the model is freaking out. The
landscape disappears.
Yeah, I saw a stream where when the person was playing, the Pip-Boy and the gun just disappeared from the screen, so there was nothing there. And
it's like playing with skulls on Halo.
There's enough glitches that where it's not something that like, oh, you have to meet certain conditions and it's really rare. It's it's something that I would imagine everyone that has played Fallout has probably had a glitch.
Yeah.
And I know that you're probably thinking, if you're a big Fallout fan, like, well, I wanted it. It's Fallout 4. I want to have it. Like for the most part, it plays perfectly fine, which is okay. But there's so many other instances where we as gamers, we chastise these type of things. If someone else without the Fallout 4 logo attached to the box released a game and you had these similar experiences, you probably,
what is this garbage?
Yeah, you probably would say it's terrible, it's not finished, we keep buying this stuff and you keep giving it to us and we want games that are finished. But then when a game that is big enough comes out, then we give them the pass and we don't hold them accountable.
Right.
And I think
maybe that's it. And they are a big studio and there are a lot of people depending on them to come out with a good game.
Yeah.
Yes, they can always patch it later. But that's a different mentality, Fallout 4 or Bethesda and everybody involved with launching and releasing that game are under a different collective mentality than that of Nintendo, especially with Nintendo-specific titles like Star Fox or Smash Brothers or Zelda. Why are we going to delay the game? Because it's us, it's our label, and we don't want to release anything that isn't up to our standards.
Yeah.
And there's pressure on both sides. People get so mad at Nintendo for not releasing stuff on time. I was gonna get Star Fox for Christmas. I'm like, nah. Okay, you can still get it. We're not axing the game. We're just gonna make it as good as we can for you. It's for you. It's for us. Ultimately, it's for us that they want to do this and make things as nice as possible. And surely Bethesda wants you to love Fallout 4. I think at some point there's a pressure or deadlines, things that we don't know that much about. What we have no idea what particular pressure or deadlines that the developers are under, and everybody else that they have to work with to actually launch a game.
Yeah.
So yeah, me personally, I give them some slack. I expect things to be fixed, especially and obviously if anything is game breaking or is deleting saves or whatever.
Yeah.
Fix that stuff first.
Yeah.
If I kill something and the corpse is still like spinning around on the floor, that's just funny. I don't even care if that glitch is there. I'm gonna laugh at it.
Yeah.
But nothing that's game breaking. That's frustrating. And when you just dropped big money on it,
Yeah, most people bought the Pip-Boy edition, so you're buying it for $120.
Right. When you pay that much for a game, you want it to work. So,
yeah.
That's my thoughts on it. Cut them a little bit of slack, but I do expect them to have things under wraps fairly quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, and we kind of have a question written down, which is better? You're free field to answer this in the comments too.
Which is better, to delay the game and try to make it almost seamless, or to just get it out there so you guys can mess with it and have fun, and hopefully there aren't glitches, but...
Yeah, do you accept like the patch it later approach? I guess is the big question, because
you're paying for that up front. You are paying real money for that, and you're not technically paying for early access. This is not an open beta.
It's a finished game.
It's
They're telling you that
supposed to be
it's
a
done.
finished game, right?
Yes,
it's supposed to be a finished game.
And there's probably tons of people that's the problem. I feel like you could never tell people Fallout 4 needs to be delayed because it wasn't ready. Like, I don't think I could convince anyone, because you've got this mentality about Fallout 4 that it's just too good. It's almost like the game is too good to have to be a problem, to have enough glitches to where it should have been delayed. I think personally, a game that big, I mean, I've seen enough glitches here and there that instead of a patch that's going to come out next year, they should have just launched it like end of December or January. Because they pushed it. I mean, they announced it, set a release date, and then obviously it came out that release date, which is great. But when you have a reputation, Bethesda actually does have a reputation for glitches, and we chastise others.
Maybe it's time to push that date back a little bit and fix some of those guys.
I guess I get problematic when people are hypocritical about it.
But this discussion on when to release it and whether to delay it or not is very, it's very on the fence.
Yeah. It's a gray area,
so
because you could always have different...
Please tell us what you think. And this goes for Fallout 4, this goes for anybody. Does the developer, does the company hold on to the game and fix it as much as possible, or do they get it out there for you guys? Let us know why you think that. Because I want to cut them a little bit. Everybody's in the gray area. I want to cut them a little bit of slack, but you just gave them a lot of money for that. Yeah. They set their own deadlines to some extent. We don't know everything, but it is what it is.
Yeah. If you're enjoying Fallout 4, that's awesome. I hope you guys are having fun. I hope you haven't had any glitches.
I hope you've had at least one, but I hope it was a funny one.
Yeah.
I don't want your save
bad.
I don't want your save file deleted. I want you to see some funny looking stuff like upside down character models.
No game
or something.
crashes.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I would be laughing my butt off. So I think that's all we have for you.
I think we have finally run our course. I've had a great time. I hope you guys have enjoyed this first episode. Just to kind of tell you where you can find myself and Linkhold after you are done watching this. First of all,
come find us.
I'm actually a Twitch streamer. I'm sure that you guys who are subscribed here know that. But I stream over at twitch.tv/corndogbandit, and I'm actually doing... The Corndog Bandit, yes. Twitch.tv/The Corndog Bandit.
We'll have all these in the description as well.
Yeah, so links below. You'll find a bunch of information in the links below. We haven't decided if we're going to release this. Well, hopefully I'll get this audio released if you want an audio version. I'll probably have links down below.
Planning to put this up on SoundCloud, yeah?
Yeah, and maybe iTunes. So if you guys want this podcast audio only, I'm going to try and get that released the same time as the video.
Otherwise, just come here to YouTube and check it out here.
You can see our pretty faces, and you can see all our aneurysms and all of the crazy things.
Cloud!
Cloud!
Yeah, that's how I felt when I was watching it. It's probably more like...
Yeah, stop breathing for a little while.
I wasn't even underwater, okay.
But over on Twitch right now, I actually have a video, and I'm probably going to have a card come up right here somewhere. That's going to link you to my Experience Yakuza video. It's a stream event I'm doing. Yakuza 5 is a Sega game that is being localized and coming out here supposedly mid-November, which it's technically been November as we record. I'm super excited for it, so I am actually streaming the first 4 games over on my Twitch channel. I love the series to death. You'll find more about that in that video, but
watch Japanese gangsters punch each other in the face. It's pretty funny.
It's a lot of fun, and it only gets better from here. We finished the first one yesterday as I record this. So we record on Sunday. This releases on Mondays.
So you know.
But yeah, if you guys are not on YouTube and you have some free time, please go check out my Twitch channel. That's where I mainly reside, but you're going to see, obviously, games and stuff here on YouTube. So
And games and stuff will be here once a week, every week.
Yes. Every Monday, you are going to have...
That is our schedule.
You're going to have these two pretty faces,
Yes.
or these two lovely silky voices talking to you. Ooh. So...
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
So yeah, come back every Monday. We'll talk about games, talk about game news, and some other stuff.
And some other things I'm thinking. We might actually be able to implement... Obviously, huge Nintendo Directs aren't going to drop every day, so news can be slow, so there might be original content where we just discuss certain things.
There will be.
If you, at a certain point, maybe have a suggestion, like, I wish I could have your opinion on blah, 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 feel free to comment, and we will maybe include it in an episode.
Comment on us. Tweet it to us.
Mm-hmm. You can check us out. I am at CornDogBandit, and
I am at I am at Linkold4 Prez.
I might actually put...
all this information will be in the description, too.
I might put it down below. I might actually have a little hovering text. It might be right here.
Mine will be here. Oh my gosh, I can't do this.
Oh, right there. There it is. It's right there.
Right here.
It feels good. But, yeah, please go check us out on Twitter. You can obviously contact us directly and
ask us
see
questions.
all the crazy stuff we do.
Tell us about stuff that you want us to know about.
Yes.
Gaming news.
We want you to stalk us. Please. No. Please don't stalk us. Just be our friends. Be our family. Be everything. Everything. But anyway, guys, that's the end of Games and Stuff episode 1. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, consider subscribing, consider liking, consider sharing it. Just consider a lot of things. I hope you follow through, though.
Do it.
Anyway, that's going to be it for us. I hope we see you guys next Monday on another episode of Games and Stuff. See you later.
That's what I think of. I just throw it in there.
I'm not a Game Boy.